glance at Qiu Long. Fang Chunya's words were imbued with a hint of resentment. Yet, when it came to Qin Lang, her standards shifted dramatically. After all, it was impossible not to be pleased with such a handsome future son-in-law. Setting aside his background, simply bringing him out to meet her friends would elevate her status. Having recently returned from abroad, Qin Lang inadvertently overheard some remarks from his uncle. What's going on? Who is this Lord Hong, and what intentions does he harbor towards Jiao? Qin Lang inquired with curiosity. It was impossible for Qiu Long to respond, as he was currently trembling too much to manage even the cigarette in his hand. Fang Chunya shot a glance at her anxious husband, rolling her eyes before meticulously explaining the situation from start to finish. Is there really such a matter? Who gave him the audacity to even think of Jiao? Qin Lang's expression turned icy. Qiu Long hastily clarified. It hasn't reached that point yet. It's merely that Lord Hong is already angered. A little profit could resolve this. Despite his unease, he knew the truth must be spoken. What profit? Those who err must take responsibility. They must face the consequences. Qin Lang dialed Junzi's phone, his tone stern as he commanded, before dawn tomorrow, apprehend all individuals connected to Lord Hong in Tianhai City. If any are found dealing in goods, you know what must be done. Eliminate those who should be eliminated, and capture those who should be captured. Not a single pest must remain. After hanging up, Fang Chunya, the mother-in-law, sought to soothe Qin Lang's anger by engaging him in conversation. Not long into their discussion, Qiu Long received a call informing him of a raid on the Black Dragon Society, resulting in the capture of all of Lord Hong's men, with several even being shot on the spot. Strangely, aside from those apprehending Lord Hong's associates, the authorities left everything else untouched, even refraining from damaging a single chair belonging to the Black Dragon Society. Oh, your efficiency is quite impressive. I have no complaints against you. My affairs, I can manage on my own. There is no need for you, young Master Qin, to waste your time on this. Upon hearing the report emanating from her phone, Qiu Jiao began to hum in a manner that was both playful and coy, though elated, particularly when Qin Lang mentioned that he would follow her lead in the future regarding a dress. Her heart felt as if it had been sweetened with honey. Conversely, upon learning that Lord Hong was contemplating actions against her, she did not pause to inquire about the reasons. Instead, she directly responded with a thunderous strike. These events were etched in her mind, filling her heart with joy, though her exterior remained as frigid as ever, betraying none of the happiness she felt within. Her demeanor was such that one might think Qin Lang owed her an astronomical sum. Jiao, what troubles you? Shouldn't I be the one addressing these matters? Qin Lang shook his head in exasperation. You, my dear, are growing increasingly tempestuous. Upon witnessing her attitude, Fang Chunyu's frustration boiled over. Xiao Qin treats you with such kindness, and yet you repay him with disdain? Is it so intolerable that he has been occupied and not visited you for a brief while? Do you expect him to languish in idleness without a man around? Can a few days without male company truly be so dire? Chapter 387. The Mother Who Knows Her Daughter Best. Mom, am I not your flesh and blood? How can you speak of your daughter in such a way? Qiu Jiao stared incredulously at her mother, rolling her eyes in disbelief. While it is said that a married daughter is like water poured away, it is unheard of for a mother-in-law to direct her elbow toward her son-in-law. For such a lengthy period, Qin Lang had shown little concern for her. Yet upon his return, he beamed with delight. Did she not have any pride? What value was there in so eagerly presenting herself before Qin Lang? Such easy access would only embolden him in the future. You, my dear, are becoming increasingly insufferable, even daring to oppose your mother. Xiao Qin has been here for quite some time, and the moment he learns of your troubles, he dispatches assistance without hesitation. Yet here you are, lounging comfortably in your chair, completely oblivious to the kindness extended towards you. Qiu Long glared at his daughter, equally displeased. It was only now that Qiu Jiao began to grasp the meaning of betrayal from those closest to her. It seemed the fault lay solely with her. With his formidable background and power, he had easily resolved matters with Lord Hong, who instilled trepidation in her parents with just a phone call. After all, it seemed that the one who ought to apologize for Qin Lang's absence was not him, but rather herself. If you wish to drink tea, return to your own abode. I possess neither fine tea nor a maid to serve you. Qiu Jiao lowered her gaze, fixated on her computer screen as if engrossed in work, dismissing them entirely. Jiao, Fang Chunyu was filled with a mix of disappointment and frustration. She truly could not comprehend what occupied her daughter's mind. Did she not consider Qin Lang's lineage and background? Such a man would hardly lack for female companionship. If she was disinterested, that would suffice. After all, Fang Chunyu would never coerce her daughter into flattering someone of Qin Lang's stature. Yet now, a vague and inexplicable relationship has undeniably developed. Yet one continues to exhibit such disregard. Is this not a blatant invitation for discomfort? Dear Xiao Qin, please do not take offense. That girl Jior, to put it plainly, possesses a cold exterior but a warm heart, and remains deeply concerned for you. During your absence, she often murmured to me about you, pondering whether you were enjoying your meals or sleeping comfortably. Fang Chunyan felt a bittersweet pang in her heart. Yet she had to maintain a faade of respect towards Qin Lang. Xiao Jior scoffed, dismissing the notion. How could she possibly have mentioned Qin Lang's name in the few conversations they had? His well-being was of no concern to her. He could go wherever he pleased and engage in whatever he wished. It had no bearing on her. She was indifferent to his circumstances. The smile on Qin Lang's face gradually faded, a single shift in expression causing Fang Chunyan and Xiao Long to grow anxious. The couple remained oblivious to the true nature of their daughter's relationship with Qin Lang. Furthermore, no one could discern how Qin Lang truly perceived Xiao Jior. Xiao Long, being well acquainted with the male psyche, understood what mattered most to men. Beyond beauty and a captivating figure, what they desired most was a genuine concern. If this conversation continued, Xiao Long feared he might hear even more heart-wrenching words from his daughter. By then, it would be too late to mend fences with Qin Lang. I must attend to matters. You may all leave now. Xiao Jior waved her hand without lifting her gaze, feeling intensely displeased. She was already irked that upon his return, Qin Lang chose to seek out Zhou Zhuqing instead of visiting her, leaving her with a lingering unease. Now, with her parents joining in the reproach, her discontent only deepened. If her parents cared for Qin Lang, let them attend to him. She had no intention of doing so. She was indifferent to any matters concerning Qin Lang. As the esteemed leader of the Rose Hall, overseeing the lives of so many sisters, how could she possibly let personal affairs with a man disrupt her composure? If she were to inexplicably concern herself with Qin Lang again, she would no longer be worthy of her position as the leader of the Rose Hall. Uncle Aunt, since Joer is upset, I shall return another time. Qin Lang sighed, refraining from further explanations, and made his way toward the door. Go on if you have the courage. Then leave, and don't ever come back. Xiao Joer kept her head down, her fingers flying across the keyboard. Whether typing or venting her frustration was unclear. Regardless, she avoided eye contact, her shoulders trembling slightly as if holding back immense grievance. As Qin Lang departed, Fang Chunyan followed behind, struggling with each step. Given her daughter's temperament, it was likely that if Qin Lang ceased to make an effort to reach out, he might truly be left in silence. And who was Qin Lang? To lower himself for the sake of her daughter. In the depths of her frustration, Fang Chunyan's mind erupted into a tempest of thoughts. Suddenly, a spark of inspiration ignited within her. She discreetly prodded Qin Lang's knee from behind. As he turned to look, she signaled with a glance and whispered the word collapse. In an instant, Qin Lang fell straight to the ground. Xiao Jur, seated at the table, quickly raised her head, her beautiful eyes widening in shock. Gone was the defiant demeanor she had earlier displayed. She was now in a state of panic. What was happening? How could this be? Where is everyone? Someone help. Fang Chunyan swallowed hard, deeply unsettled. What happened to Xiao Qin? He had seemed fine just moments ago, and now he had collapsed as if something was gravely amiss. Xiao Long, equally stunned, nodded numbly. Such a sudden illness was indeed alarming. Call for an ambulance, he suggested. Perhaps we should wait for the ambulance before proceeding. Jiur, you mustn't touch him. If something truly is wrong, it could complicate matters further. Fang Chunyan bent down to pull her daughter away, knowing that if Xiao Qin's family found out he was in trouble, they would surely erupt in fury. And she worried about the repercussions for her daughter. Let the ambulance take him to Tianhai City Hospital. If Xiao Qin is fine, that would be ideal. If not, we can say he overindulged in alcohol. What are you talking about? Why wait for an ambulance? Xiao Jur interrupted, her eyes red with distress. Can't you see he has already lost consciousness? Do you realize he has experienced this before? He nearly died. How long will it take for the ambulance to arrive? Doesn't the Black Dragon Society have a private hospital? Why not take him there directly? With gritted teeth, she held the fallen Qin Lang, her disdain directed at her parents who urged her not to meddle. You all were so flattering when Qin Lang was well, but now that trouble has struck. You're quick to shirk responsibility. Fine. If you're afraid and unwilling to take responsibility, then leave. I will bear the burden alone. If anything happens to Qin Lang, I won't wait for his family to blame him. I will go down with him. Chapter 388. The Tender Qiu Jiu Er O. When will you change your habit of saying one thing but feeling another. Fang Chunyan sighed. Just now, you were blaming your father and me. Now, you've scolded us thoroughly. Do you feel better now? She was well aware of her daughter's temperament. Though she feigned indifference, her true concern was evident whenever a crisis arose. Was it a bit too coincidental for Qin Lang to fall into unconsciousness at such a moment? Logically, if one could maintain even a modicum of rational thought, this situation could have been avoided. Yet here they were. Her daughter's urgency was palpable, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. As a mother, Fang Chunyan felt a pang of guilt for continuing to deceive her daughter, fearing that she might truly break her heart. It was enough that Qin Lang should discover her daughter's true feelings. The rest was up to them to navigate their own path forward. As a mother, it is sufficient to offer assistance appropriately, yet there are boundaries that should not be crossed. Certain matters remain beyond her realm of support. Let us depart. With a firm tug on her reluctant partner, Fang Chunhua swiftly exited the Queen's bar without a backward glance. Once settled in the back seat of the private car, she inhaled deeply and remarked that the concerns regarding Jiu'er had largely dissipated. After the veil of secrecy was lifted, her defiance proved futile. However, would there be complications with Lord Hong? Qin Lang had dispatched his men to dismantle Lord Hong's influence. What if this provoked his ire? The individuals behind him are not to be trifled with. Qiulong's expression darkened. Which Lord Hong are you referring to? The individuals behind him? Who exactly are they? What nonsense is this? Years ago, he used a banquet as a pretext to deceive me and assert dominance. I still recall it vividly. I cannot abide by Hong Laolu. If he dares to extend his reach into Tianhai City again, I'll see to it that he is thoroughly dealt with. Did you not say he invited you for a drink? Fang Chunhua scoffed, bemused by the rapid shift in demeanor. Initially apprehensive about Lord Hong's intentions towards Jiu'er, she now observed a swift change in attitude. Qiulong chuckled derisively. Did you not hear Qin Shao instructing me to address him as Little Qin? Did you not catch wind of his statement that it would not be long before he would follow suit in renaming himself in accordance with Jiu'er? I care not for Lord Hong's might in Jiangnan County. Should he dare to come to Tianhai City and dictate terms, I shall not let him go unpunished. We are all part of this world. He may have a powerful backing, but I have a son-in-law. My foundation is sturdier than his. Were it not for my advancing years, I could assure you that the underworld of Jiangnan County would soon bear my surname. If you believe it. Such a charade. Fang Chunhua rolled her eyes. With a snap, Qiulong ignited a cigarette and took a deep drag, indifferent to the criticisms. Let them speak as they will. Jiu'er, though seemingly aloof, has shown her true concern for Qin Shao at a crucial moment. Even the hardest of hearts may soften. Who knows, perhaps in the future, I might actually see Qin Shao as my family. Casting a glance at his wife, Qiulong felt a surge of admiration for her maneuvering. She had not only revealed their daughter's affections to Qin Shao, but had also stripped away the icy facade that Jiu'er had maintained. This was akin to a masterful performance. A dual benefit. Meanwhile, at the Queen's Bar, on the third floor, outside the office door, the deputy leader of the Rose Hall and his entourage stood poised for action. Young miss, there's no need for concern. Everyone may return to their duties. Indulge in a few extra bottles of wine tonight on my account. Qin Lang, one hand grasping Jiu'er, waved dismissively at the deputy leader of the Rose Hall, signaling them to leave. The members of the Rose Hall arrived swiftly and departed just as quickly. The area outside the office fell silent in an instant. Let me go. Release me. Jiu'er felt the tension within her dissipate, overwhelmed by a mix of joy and anger. The joy stemmed from the fact that Qin Lang was unharmed. The anger arose from the realization that he had conspired with her parents to deceive her. Release me, she protested vehemently, struggling to free herself. As Qin Lang's voice suddenly deepened, he gazed intently at Jiu'er, whose eyes were reddened with tears. He extended his hand to gently wipe away her sorrow, murmuring an apology. In that moment, the atmosphere around them became palpably still. Jiu'er, momentarily taken aback by the abrupt shift in his demeanor, bit her lip and inquired, "Why have you suddenly become so serious?" With his eyelids lowered, Qin Lang confessed, "I never anticipated that one day I would hold such significance in your heart. Throughout my life, countless individuals have feared my family background, and many have flattered me solely due to the prestige of the Qin family. I am acutely aware of their true sentiments. When I am untroubled, they rejoice, yet should I encounter difficulties, they would eagerly distance themselves from me, desperate to shed any association with my troubles, fearing the slightest hint of complication. Only you, and you alone, remain steadfast, casting your entire heart upon me in my moments of helplessness and solitude. As he spoke, his tone grew increasingly desolate, evoking a profound sense of melancholy, as if his heart had grown cold. He found himself needing to embrace Qiu Jiu'er for warmth. "You seem well now," she remarked, feeling his arms tighten around her neck, making it somewhat difficult to breathe. Yet, inexplicably, she did not mind this slight suffocation. For the first time, she felt truly needed, and she ventured into the depths of Qin Lang's heart. Sensing the subtle tremor in his body, Qiu Jiu'er felt a rush of panic, akin to caring for a child. She gently patted his back, saying, "Do not be like this. It is not as dire as you think. I am here for you, always." Furthermore, Zhou Jiqing is not the person you believe her to be. She likely does not possess a deep understanding of your family. There are still many in this world who care for you. The so-called heir of the Qin family, cold and ruthless, employing severe measures in the outside world, is merely a lonely soul at heart. Why conceal your feelings so deeply? Would it not have been simpler to express them sooner? Had you done so, she could have entered your heart much earlier. In that moment, she found herself no longer angry at her mother for deceiving her. Instead, she felt a surge of gratitude. "I feel a bit cold," Qin Lang said, still enveloping Qiu Jiu'er in his embrace, his voice tinged with loneliness. "Let us return inside. The air conditioning is on." Supporting Qin Lang, Qiu Jiu'er led him back to the office, closing the door behind him. With a slight tiptoe, she sank onto the couch, adjusting the air conditioning to a comfortable 28 degrees. As she looked down at Qin Lang, who still held her tightly, she instinctively shrank her neck. Rather than feeling burdened, she felt a warmth coursing through her heart. "Jiu'er," he whispered. "Yes, Jiu'er is here." Chapter 389. The next script? Preparing for the future ding. "Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 villain points." Ding. "Congratulations, host. You have gained 10,002 villain points." With a deep sigh, Qin Lang exhaled as Qiu Jiu'er gently caressed his cheek, her voice imbued with tenderness. "All right, stop sighing and overthinking. Are you feeling warmer now? You've sweated so much. Whether I sweat or not has nothing to do with feeling cold. The most important thing is that you, Jiu'er, have a warm heart that brings me comfort," Qin Lang remarked, embracing the delicate Qiu Jiu'er and planting a kiss on her exquisite cheek. In these materialistic times, it is indeed rare for Qiu Jiu'er to maintain such a fervent spirit. She embodies the essence of a warm heart behind a cool exterior. "I knew you wouldn't say anything nice," Qiu Jiu'er replied with a playful roll of her eyes, her cheeks slightly flushed as she discerned his true meaning, feeling a mix of resentment and acceptance towards his behavior. She was not entirely opposed to Qin Lang's actions. A bit of mischief was preferable to witnessing his dejected expression. "You're still my Jiu'er," Qin Lang mused as he stroked her cheek, filled with emotion. At times, one must embrace a masculine demeanor, and given his status, he could never indulge in servility. However, once he achieved his desires, acting solely on his own whims without regard for others would be excessively callous. Qi Yue, being a woman of strong character and fate, possessed her own emotions and thoughts. She cannot be entirely bound by a few plot lines. When necessary, Qin Lang would show vulnerability, allowing Qiu Jiu'er to feel the warmth of being needed. Such behavior, often dismissed by ordinary people, can leave a profound impact on a woman's heart, providing her with a sense of security. Of course, this is contingent upon their relationship having reached a certain level. Showing weakness too early would only provoke disdain. From now on, don't keep everything bottled up. Speaking out can alleviate burdens. If you feel you have no one to confide in, come to me. Leaning against Qin Lang, Qiu Jiu'er felt a sense of dependence she had previously found distasteful, believing that women should stand equal to men without needing to rely on anyone. Yet, her perspective had shifted significantly. If even a man as formidable as Qin Lang had his vulnerable moments, why couldn't she afford to be a little gentler? "There's something I need you to keep an eye on," Qin Lang suddenly said, prompting Qiu Jiu'er to flinch instinctively. "Can you not be so startling? Please be more mindful," she chastised, playfully smacking his waist with her fair hand. "I really don't understand what goes on in that head of yours. Just say what you need. I'll certainly do my utmost to help." Qin Lang smiled, tightening his embrace around Qiu Jiu'er as he continued. "Huang Lao Lu from Jiangnan County has had a conflict with you, hasn't he? Seizing this opportunity, you should expand the business of Rose Hall throughout the Jiangnan region, competing for territory with that old fellow Han. Inform your father as well, stating that it is my directive. Furthermore, keep an eye out for any son-in-law in Jiangnan who appears to have no background, much like a rootless weed, suddenly becoming a consort to a second-rate family. With a father-in-law who is incompetent, a domineering mother-in-law, and a wife who looks down upon him. They have been married for 3 years. sharing a roof, yet sleeping separately, one on the bed, the other on the floor, without even having held hands. Chiu Jiu'er furrowed her brow. Could such a son-in-law truly exist? It sounded almost like a fantastical tale. How could one be considered a man if, after 3 years of marriage, he has never even held his wife's hand? Any man with a semblance of masculinity would have no reason to remain in such a family. The world is vast. There are countless opportunities for a livelihood elsewhere. Qin Lang found it difficult to counter such reasoning. Yet, given the current circumstances, the sudden emergence of the Mo family in Jiangnan and the underground figure of Lord Hong seemed to suggest a narrative of a son-in-law intertwined with a warrior. The critical point is that Chun Fan is still alive and has not grasped the storyline, only able to speculate based on fragmented memories. There is another phenomenon to consider. A beautiful girl from a prominent family suddenly has a child. The daughter is now 5 years old, yet her father remains unknown. The situation for the mother and daughter is dire. The child is confined to a pigsty, while the mother struggles to survive by working in a nightclub. In such cases, one should be cautious when approaching the mother and daughter, as the man behind them wields significant power. A chill ran through Chiu Jiu'er's heart. 5 years. An entire 5 years, during which the wife and daughter have endured such a wretched existence. Regardless of the underlying circumstances, it is unforgivable. If, as you say, he possesses immense power, why has he never shown concern for the woman he once harmed? Ah, how intriguing. I had never realized that the leader of Rose Hall, Chiu Jiu'er, was such a sharp critic. The arguments were so well-founded that even he found it challenging to refute them. Focused primarily on the first possibility, Qin Lang said little. The straightforward warrior narrative struck him as somewhat implausible, rather monotonous. Based on the nature of the system, it is inconceivable that it would concoct a tale centered around a daughter of fortune. It seems more inclined towards a narrative of a warrior son-in-law, someone with an immense background, capable of resolving any issue with a mere revelation of identity, yet chooses to conceal it. In his previous life, such plots had disgusted him immensely. The revulsion prompted Qin Lang to wish he could leap into the narrative and drag the male protagonist out for punishment. The frustration was unbearable. Now, if he truly had the chance for a face-to-face confrontation, he would surely seek to avenge this loathsome grievance. Of course, this is merely precautionary investigation, a preparation for what lies ahead. To discern the intricate details of the plot, one must first offer a sacrifice of the son of destiny, Chun Fan. If the daughter of fortune truly has borne a child, then there is little recourse. Qin Lang is not one to mingle in the spittle of others, if necessary. He shall contact the Lord of War and rally his 100,000 brethren to bolster the nightclub's performance. Chapter 390. Has Chu Mingyao disappeared? In the ensuing 2 days, Qin Lang found himself ensconced within the opulent confines of the Queen's Bar, indulging in a pleasantly languorous existence. By day, he would share drinks with Junzi, and by night, he found solace in the warmth of his wife by the hearth, particularly upon learning that Qin Lang had been summoned by Zhou Zhiqing. Chiu Jiu'er's sentiments for this inseparable confidant deepened considerably. Whenever there was good fortune, she could not help but think of her. At present, Zhou Zhiqing was devoid of any frivolous thoughts, allowing Chiu Jiu'er to accompany Qin Lang downstairs for a drink, while she herself lacked the leisure to indulge, retreating instead to the upper floor for a restful slumber. Suddenly, an urgent exclamation pierced the air. Qin Lang, trouble has arisen. A grave matter. In that moment, Chun Ziki rushed in, her expression fraught with panic, having hastily commandeered a company vehicle. Upon spotting Qin Lang leisurely seated in a booth with Chiu Jiu'er, her heart surged with indignation. Yao has vanished. Xiao Chu is also unreachable. The matter has escalated. It must be the Mo family's doing. You must hurry to rescue Yao. Qin Lang, cradling a glass of red wine, gently swirled it while casting a sidelong glance at the breathless Chunziki, murmuring softly, "Do not fret. Consider your own well-being. You cannot exhaust yourself like this. Have a drink to calm your nerves." He gestured to the bartender to prepare a cocktail and slid it toward Chunziki. How can you remain so composed at this moment?" Chunziki exclaimed, pointing an accusatory finger at Qin Lang, her heart tightening with concern. Junzi, who had been observing from a distance, sensing the gravity of the situation, rushed over and patiently interjected, "Miss Chun, please do not be alarmed. I have already received prior intelligence regarding Miss Chu's situation and have informed the young master. He was apprised of the circumstances before your arrival and has taken the necessary steps. Even so, how can you sit here so nonchalantly? Yao is missing, and it is highly likely that the Mo family is involved. After you killed Mo Bai, they would not dare confront you directly, Instead, they would surely unleash their wrath upon Yao Yao. She is but a girl who has only recently celebrated her 20th birthday. What perilous scenes has she ever encountered? I shudder to think of the cruelty the Mo family might inflict upon her. Chun Ziqi's agitation surged, and the news of Chu Mingyao's disappearance weighed heavily on her heart. How could Qin Lang remain so unperturbed? A modicum of anxiety would have allowed her to find solace in her own thoughts. Yet, witnessing his calm demeanor in light of such dire news left her feeling desolate. A profound sense of sorrow reminiscent of the lamentations of a rabbit mourning its fallen fox companion enveloped her. If she were to vanish, abducted by some nefarious force, would Qin Lang react in the same manner as now? Or perhaps with even greater indifference, neglecting to make any arrangements whatsoever? Hold your horses, Qin Lang interjected, surveying his surroundings. It was currently the off hours at the Empress Bar, devoid of patrons. Present were only the trusted confidants of Chiojie, the core members of the Rose Hall. The confidentiality here was rather assured. Casting au glance of Kiyuar, she understood the unspoken message and instructed a few subordinates to guard the entrance, allowing no outsiders to intrude. What do you mean? Are you blocking my escape route? Chun Ziqi furrowed her brow at the Rose Hall members stationed at the door. Qin Lang rolled his eyes. Indeed, he feared that she might disseminate this cold-hearted news, tarnishing his reputation, thus resorting to extraordinary measures in such extraordinary times, namely, ensuring that she could never speak of this to anyone outside. Is it true that in your eyes, I'm merely a gossipy woman? Chun Ziqi chuckled bitterly, standing still, closing her eyes, and tilting her snow-white neck. If you wish to kill me, then do so. It would be far cleaner than enduring further humiliation at the hands of someone like you. An overwhelming sadness gripped her heart. Countless times, she had bestowed hope upon herself, time and again concealing and deceiving her own heart, merely to aspire for a life that was no longer so bleak, no longer so shrouded in darkness. In fact, witnessing Qin Lang's kindness towards Chu Mingyao had added a glimmer of light to her existence. Her heart had ceased to be so resistant. She managed to suppress her discomfort, allowing Qin Lang to act as he pleased within the CF. Little did she know that her sacrifices would yield such a disheartening return. She had anesthetized herself with countless dreams, but today, was it time to awaken from this reverie? After a long while, the anticipated gunfire did not resound, nor did the agonizing pain of a sharp dagger slicing through her throat materialize. She opened her eyes, glaring furiously at Qin Lang, ready to unleash her wrath, vowing that even in her next life, she would rather be a dog than endure his scorn again. At that moment, a gentle figure enveloped her in a tight embrace. Sister Ziqi, thank you. I truly appreciate your concern for me. I had no idea you cared so much. Chun Ziqi turned around, dumbfounded, to see the supposedly missing Chu Mingyao standing before her, her eyes widening in astonishment. Yao Yao, how did you end up here? Uncle Chu said you had gone missing, and even Xiao Chu Chu went to rescue you. Chu Mingyao glanced in Qin Lang's direction before turning back, feeling a wave of embarrassment under Chun Ziqi's scrutinizing gaze. Guilt washed over her as she confessed. Actually, I was moved to safety long ago by Qin Lang. I only just arrived here after learning about my supposed disappearance today. Qin Lang instructed me not to tell anyone, not even my father, for fear that the news might leak and lead to unforeseen consequences. Chun Ziqi's gaze shifted towards Qin Lang, who took a sip of his drink and shot her a sidelong glance, questioning, "What are you looking at me for? In your eyes? Do I not appear to be a villain of the utmost depravity, one who speaks without sincerity? Must it truly be that only when something dire befalls Yao Yao I'd have frantically rushed to her aid for it to be deemed concern? As the quintessential antagonist, I am acutely aware that the Mo family has already set their sights on Chu Mingyao, and with the presence of the fortuitous maidens, Xiao Chu Chu and Xiao Bingbing, guarding her, what does that signify? How many layers of complication have been added? Is it not evident that trouble is imminent? Can one simply allow Chu Mingyao to linger at home? How could Qin Lang possibly remain idle? Would he sit back and wait for Chu Mingyao to be abducted, only to then exhaust himself in a desperate rescue? This situation has transcended the bounds of a conventional narrative, fraught with uncertainty and unforeseen consequences. No one can predict whether ill intentions would befall Chu Mingyao upon her abduction. If one were to truly empathize, placing oneself in the shoes of the kidnapper, one might wonder how they would act. Others may have their own approaches, but if it were him, it would certainly be a different story. Chapter 391. Xiao Chu Chu and Xiao Bingbing in captivity. Chun Ziqi opened her mouth, but found herself at a loss for words. She had assumed that Qin Lang was utterly indifferent to Chu Mingyao's plight, reveling in leisure while aware of her capture. This misconception fueled her ire, prompting her to vehemently criticize him, disregarding his formidable influence. Yet, who could have guessed that it was all merely a figment of her imagination? Qin Lang was not devoid of empathy. In fact, he had meticulously devised a comprehensive plan, so well concealed that even she was oblivious. All in the interest of ensuring Chu Mingyao's safety. With each move, he calculated 3 steps ahead. Even she had believed that with Xiao Chu's close protection, there would be no further security concerns for Chu Mingyao. Yet, the unexpected occurred in undeniable reality. Were it not for Qin Lang, Chu Mingyao might have already fallen into the hands of the Mo family. Well then, if there is nothing else, you may take your leave. The matters ahead are no longer of your concern. Qin Lang gestured dismissively, signaling her departure. This turn of events was a pleasant surprise. He had not anticipated Chen Ziqi's vehement outburst regarding this matter. A splendid opportunity. In seizing this moment, he could shatter the last vestige of Chen Ziqi's defenses. As furious as she had been previously, hurling the most disparaging remarks, the revelation of the truth would surely engender profound guilt. I am sorry, Chen Ziqi murmured through gritted teeth, feeling a deep discomfort within. I should not have harbored malicious assumptions about your character, nor should I have vented my anger upon you. If you feel aggrieved, feel free to strike or chastise me. I shall utter not a word of complaint. She approached Qin Lang step by step, as if seeking punishment. Officer Chen, are you not inciting me to commit a crime? Qin Lang scoffed. What is your standing that I would dare to strike you? If all is well, you may leave, provided you do not speak of Yao Yao's situation. Qin Lang chuckled inwardly. What was she attempting to achieve? A futile attempt at redemption? How naive. If you were to point at Chen Ziqi's nose and unleash a torrent of abuse, or even resort to physically assaulting her, it would not evoke hatred within her. Rather, it would impart a sense of relief. Yet, he refrains from both violence and harsh words, speaking instead with an unsettling politeness, his demeanor growing cold as if he were addressing a stranger. Please, don't say that. You know I didn't mean it. I'm just... Chen Ziqi, feeling flustered, attempted to explain herself, but her words fell flat and powerless, leaving her gazing helplessly at Qin Lang, hoping he might comprehend her turmoil. In the past, she had yearned to draw a line between herself and Qin Lang, wishing never to see him again. However, inexplicably, she gradually developed a dependence on him. Or perhaps it was a form of self-soothing, fabricating a favorable image of him in her mind to reconcile her feelings about their intimate encounters. It was not that she could not leave. The prerequisite for that was the crumbling of the idealized image of Qin Lang in her heart, compelling her to depart with disdain. For instance, when Chu Mingyao was kidnapped, he could still indulge in casual revelry with other women. Such a man, Chen Ziqi would scorn. Despite any past they shared, she could muster the resolve to sever ties. Yet, reality proved that Qin Lang was far from the person she had envisioned. Even her previous imaginings paled in comparison to his true character. With a formidable background, he was capable of empathizing with the needs of his beloved, willing to expend great resources to ensure Chu Mingyao's safety. It was this man, worthy of lifelong devotion, whom she had just harshly berated. Now, hearing Qin Lang's frigid tone, reminiscent of a stranger's, filled her with profound desolation and dread. She felt as though she were drifting further away from him, the chasm between them widening. Yao Yao. Chen Ziqi cast a desperate glance at Chu Mingyao, clutching her arm, casting fearful glances at Qin Lang, unable to meet his gaze. Qin Lang, I understand you are upset, but Sister Ziqi only spoke out of concern for me. Although she should not have pointed at you and scolded you, nor should she have assumed the worst about you. It is not surprising, given her experiences with malevolence. Chu Mingyao sought to intercede, yet Chen Ziqi, hearing enough, urgently tugged at her arm, imploring her to cease. If she continued, Chen Ziqi felt she might vanish entirely. Please don't be angry. Forgive Sister Ziqi. Chu Mingyao wriggled free from Chen Ziqi's grasp and scampered to Qin Lang, clinging to him and playfully pouting. Unable to articulate a reason, she simply resorted to playful insistence. Qin Lang, with a slight grimace, discreetly withdrew his hand from her embrace, aware of the jealous eyes observing them. Some matters must remain discreet. All right. Since you've said that, how could I possibly remain angry? Qin Lang cast a disapproving glance at Chen Ziqi, who stood before him, visibly uneasy. There was no need to discuss forgiveness. Your intentions may be well placed, yet I find your temperament and disposition profoundly disagreeable. Your tendency to adopt a haughty demeanor, as if you were the superior, is irksome to anyone who encounters it. Indeed, this situation no longer concerns you. Yao Yao is now safe, and your involvement is unwarranted. I shall remain here, for my sole duty is to safeguard Yao Yao. Shinziki, fearful of being dismissed once more, insisted on staying to protect Chu Mingyao. TSK. Meanwhile, Junzi, who had been observing quietly, cautiously scribbled notes in his little notebook. Such advanced maneuvering, indeed, was of a high caliber. The former Shinziki was marked by her arrogance and obstinacy. Whenever she encountered the young master, her expressions were consistently disdainful, as if nothing could please her. Had it been anyone else, they would have lowered themselves to the lowest status, becoming nothing more than a sycophant to Shinziki, who might not even appreciate such adoration. Yet now, after only a few interactions, the young master had laid bare his intentions, directly instructing Shinziki to leave. Contrary to expectation, she seemed transformed. No amount of cold words or urging could compel her to depart. Instead, she clung to Chu Mingyao, pleading for her to intercede on her behalf. This was indeed a testament to the young master's mastery of the situation. No, that's not quite right. There remained layers yet to be uncovered. Junzi noticed that Chu Mingyao was occasionally seeking favor from the young master, and a spark of inspiration struck him. This time, not only had the young master skillfully managed Shinziki, but he had also achieved a dual purpose. Shinziki's apologies fell on deaf ears. Yet a single word from Chu Mingyao resolved the matter. This undoubtedly reinforced Chu Mingyao's position in the young master's eyes, and she would likely grow even more devoted in the future. Remarkable, the young master's maneuver was nothing short of brilliant. With his discerning eye, Junzi could only perceive these two dimensions, unaware of whether more intricate dynamics lay beneath the surface. He cherished the little booklet chronicling the young master's every word and deed, stowing it away with a sense of reverence. He patted his bulging pocket, feeling a wave of nostalgia, preparing to study late into the night, replaying the events in his mind 100 times over, hoping to grasp even a fraction of the young master's profound wisdom. Just then, Junzi's phone buzzed with a notification. He glanced at it briefly before looking up at Qin Lang. Anxiety etched on his face. Young master, something is amiss. The MO family has mobilized a significant number of county guards and has besieged Miss Xiao Chu Chu and Miss Xiao Bing Bing. Chapter 392. The MO family's might Xiao Chu Chu is trapped. ISNT Yao Yao here. Have I not realized that Yao Yao has escaped? Shinziki found herself bewildered. Was it possible that Qin Lang's plan did not involve consulting Xiao Chu Chu? Had she been left in the dark? Had she rushed off to save someone? No. Given Xiao Chu Chu's identity and strength, it was inconceivable that she could overlook such an obvious fact, especially since she was tasked with protecting Chu Mingyao. Confusion reigned. Shinziki gazed at Qin Lang with a look of utter bewilderment. Why are you looking at me? I'm not acquainted with either of them. Qin Lang replied nonchalantly. At least, not yet. As for what lies ahead, who can truly predict? Shinziki, considering her role as a police officer, questioned. Do you not realize that in order to deceive others, it is paramount to first deceive one's own people? Moreover, whether those two women are indeed our allies remains debatable. Why should I explain anything to them? What if the information leaks? At that moment, Xiao Jior, who had been as silent as a ghost, finally spoke up, casting a fierce glare at Shinziki. It's quite the first for me to encounter someone as oblivious as you, boldly questioning others without a shred of thought. Surely, it is evident that someone must have taken Chu Mingyao's place when the MO family captured her. Is that so difficult to comprehend? Or are you merely seeking an excuse to engage with Qin Lang? Xiao Jior, mind your tone, and do not let me uncover any unsavory dealings related to the Empress Bar, or I shall eventually invite you for tea. Shinziki retorted, her teeth clenched, unashamed despite her thoughts being laid bare. In front of anyone other than Qin Lang, she maintained her usual domineering demeanor. Oh dear, Officer Chun, such authority. I shall be wary of your potential to make my life difficult in the future. Xiao Jior and Shinziki were clearly adversaries, engaging in a fierce verbal duel, neither yielding an inch. After listening for a while, Qin Lang grew disinterested. This is tedious. Watching beautiful women hurl insults at each other lacks excitement. They don't even resort to low blows, which renders it rather pointless. Noticing Junzi engrossed in their exchange, Qin Lang felt compelled to intervene. You shouldn't emulate this. It's too civilized for someone of your stature, lacking any sense of menace. Junzi scratched the back of his head sheepishly and replied, Young master, you needn't worry. While I cannot compare myself to Miss Chiu or Miss Chun in other matters, I assure you, I have never lost a battle of insults. Hmm? Qin Lang raised an eyebrow. Junzi took a deep breath, eager to defend his prowess. 10 years in Zuin, with my parents alive. I am affectionately dubbed the Zuin Mom Hunter. Hiss. Qin Lang inhaled sharply, astonished to learn of Junzi's rather unfortunate nickname. Perhaps we should pause for a moment. After all, Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing ventured into the Mo family to save me. Now that they are trapped, shouldn't we report this and seek assistance to rescue them? Chu Mingyao interjected, pouting and blinking her eyes, displaying an unrefined yet endearing demeanor. Report it? Officer Chan, might I suggest you take charge of this matter? Qin Lang called out to Chunziki while gesturing towards the nearby Chu Mingyao. Chunziki cast a glare at Xiaozhou, then took a deep breath to calm herself. The Mo family had even mobilized the county guards. As public officials, we are at a lower level. It is utterly futile for us to intervene, to the extent that we cannot even enter the Mo family's door. This underscores the importance of connections. It is also why, after witnessing Mo by S actions, Chunziki increasingly perceived Qin Lang's conduct as sincere and upright. She had attempted to report the Mo family's actions to her superiors, only to receive warnings not to meddle recklessly and entangle the public officials of Tianhai City in disputes. The Mo family's influence in Jiangnan County is overwhelmingly vast, so much so that they can command the county guards. What chance does a mere public official from Tianhai City stand? We are not even qualified to make a fuss at their doorstep, and without needing explicit instructions, arrangements were made for her clearly. What can be done? We cannot simply stand idly by while sisters Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing are trapped, can we? Chu Mingyao's fingers turned pale from gripping tightly. She knew Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing were ensnared because of her, and guilt welled up within her. Qin Lang gently patted her head a few times, reassuring her. Do not worry, I will ensure that nothing truly happens to those two. I have already made arrangements. As soon as the opportunity arises, we will set off to rescue them. Indeed, Qin Lang, you are so kind to me. Chu Mingyao lifted her head, her beautiful eyes shimmering with ripples of gratitude. Were it not for the presence of others nearby, she would have already kissed him. Just a little longer, Qin Lang comforted. How long would they need to wait? That depended on how long Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing could endure. The two of them were among the 7 fated daughters, their strength not significantly inferior to the reincarnation. At most just a notch below, with at least over 300 in physical prowess. Even surrounded by the county guards, their safety would not be immediately compromised. The main issue was that Chu Mingyao was currently captured. Otherwise, it would not be overly difficult for the two to extricate themselves. Qin Lang needed to bide his time, carefully gauging the situation. He must ensure that Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing feel the gravity of their predicament, making them realize that the Mo family in Jiangnan County is an omnipotent force, plunging them into a passive crisis. It would not do to rescue them while they still had strength remaining. Enhancing what is already good cannot compare to providing timely aid in adversity. Qin Lang understood this principle well. The charcoal has been prepared, and as for when to deliver it, that would depend on when the snow falls for Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing. On the other side, outside the Mo family in Jiangnan County, Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing were impeccably dressed, their petite suits clad in black stockings, even donning letter-embossed stockings to convincingly appear as ordinary individuals. Sister, these Mo family folks are audacious. Have they truly prepared for someone to come to the rescue? Xiao Bingbing gripped a long sword, surveying the dense ranks of county guards clad in identical uniforms around them, her teeth clenched. Such audacity! How dare they station hundreds of county guards outside their family? What boldness! Were they preparing to utterly annihilate anyone attempting to rescue Chu Mingyao? I will pave the way for you. Go and inform Qin Lang, urging him to come to our aid. At this moment in Jiangnan County, he is the only one daring enough to confront the Mo family. Chapter 393. The Xiao sisters in peril. Xiao Chu-Chu wore a frosty expression as she gazed at the densely packed county guards, ready to let her sister escape first. Given their skills, it would not be overly difficult for the two sisters to extricate themselves from the situation. However, Qin Lang had warned that if anything were to happen to Chu Mingyao, he would place the blame squarely on them. Such wrath was beyond their capacity to bear. Someone must remain vigilant here. Otherwise, should Chu Mingyao encounter any misfortune, the consequences would be dire. I refuse to leave. A mere few hundred county guards think they can intimidate us? Do they take us for naive fools? Xiao Bingbing retorted defiantly, her neck arched in defiance. She fixed her gaze on a centurion among the guards, her face stern as she admonished, "Step aside. The Mo family has unlawfully abducted civilians, violating the laws of the Dragon Kingdom. You are the protectors of Jiangnan County. Do not remain obstinately ignorant. If you retreat now, I shall overlook your transgressions. Otherwise, you shall face the consequences. Subdue them, commanded the burly centurion clad in white armor, retreating to the rear as he issued orders to the county guards. A formidable wave of guards, like a torrent of steel, advanced towards the Shao sisters, weapons raised, their expressions devoid of any compassion. Scoundrels! Shao Bingbing seethed, gritting her teeth in fury. These knaves were likely already aware of the Mo family's misdeeds, yet they remained willfully blind, emboldened by their alliance with the Mo family. Since this group of county guards was unwilling to yield, they would carve a path through them. Shao Bingbing, known for her fiery temperament, remained unchanged even upon returning to her homeland. Armed with a long sword, she charged forward, refusing to retreat a single step. With each flourish of her blade, spears were severed. And soon, the crimson stains of blood marked several county guards. Even Shao Bingbing hesitated to inflict lethal harm. After all, these were the county guards of Jiangnan. If the bloodshed were too severe, it would reflect poorly on them, and even the most justifiable actions could be misconstrued as unjust. Damn it! These ruffians know we cannot kill them, which is why they dare to act so brazenly. Sister, what shall we do? Shao Bingbing called back, having repelled dozens, now standing back-to-back with Xiao Chu-Chu, her heart brimming with indignation. Xiao Chu-Chu furrowed her brow. Although the hundreds of county guards posed no real threat to them, their sheer numbers created an insurmountable barrier, making it difficult to breach the encirclement and reach the Mo family. You must go first and have Qin Lang bring reinforcements. Otherwise, this situation will only escalate, draining our strength further. With a swift kick, Xiao Chu-Chu sent a county guard flying several meters, toppling a dozen others in the process. A momentary chaos erupted within the ranks of the guards, but soon, most regained their footing, rejoining the assault as if nothing had transpired. Sister, hold on, wait for me. Xiao Chu-Chu felt a surge of anger within her, yet she had to acknowledge that this was the only way to possibly rescue Chu Mingyao. She began to break through in the opposite direction of the Mo family's estate. At that moment, however, figures began to emerge from within the grand mansion of the Mo family, one after another. Do you think you two juniors can simply barge in and out of my Mo family's gate as you please? How dare you speak such arrogance and tarnish the reputation of the Mo family? Since you have come, you shall not escape. A series of agile warriors blocked Shao Bingbing's path. These were all guests of the Mo family, akin to the hidden Rakshasa beside Mo Bai. They either led a life where they were accustomed to keeping their heads low in the black market, seeking refuge within a prominent family for survival, or they were powerful individuals motivated by the various lucrative benefits offered by the Mo family. None of them were to be trifled with. Behind a county guard, Zhao Mingyue stood atop the Mo family's three-story pavilion, silently observing the unfolding events at the entrance, her brows furrowing in confusion. What was happening? How had these two women found their way here? Beside her, a man clad in black robes lowered his head and spoke with trepidation. Madam, you have seen the strength of these two women. They are formidable, even stronger than the guests of the Mo family. My skills in disguise and evasion may surpass theirs slightly, but if I were to confront them, I would surely perish. Fortunately, I have not disappointed your expectations and successfully brought Chu Mingyao back to you. His gaze fell upon Chu Mingyao, who was closely guarded by two bodyguards, unable to escape. Oomph. Zhao Mingyue cast a cold glance at Chu Mingyao, her eyes filled with venom. How dare she seduce my son and now attempt to bring trouble to the Mo family? Such delusions are futile. They are merely two women. Even if they come to the Mo family, they shall not escape. Eliminate them. Even if Qin Lang were to arrive here, he would have no means to rescue you, regardless of his formidable background. As her gaze towards Chu Mingyao grew increasingly cruel, she began to laugh coldly. Rest assured, I shall not allow you to die swiftly. I intend for you to savor the pleasure of death slowly. I shall present you with a grand gift. After all, from this moment forth, you shall be regarded as my daughter-in-law. Doesn't Mo Bai fancy Chu Mingyao? As a mother, how could she possibly go against her son's wishes? After Chu Mengyao's demise, she would adorn her beautifully, allowing her to serve her son in the afterlife. However, it was not yet the time to torment Chu Mingyao. Zhao Mingyue glanced out the window, exchanged looks with a guest, and made a slashing motion across her throat. Block the paths of these two women and eliminate them. The guest withdrew his gaze, let out a roar, and brandished a large blade, leaping forth like a monkey. The blade sliced through the air with a chilling gleam, producing a piercing sound as it sought to cleave Xiao Bingbing in two, ruthless in its intent. Xiao Bingbing scoffed disdainfully, her long sword shimmering as she deftly neutralized the fierce assault of the blade at an unusual angle. Her graceful form moved like a specter, elusive and unpredictable, as she turned and advanced. As she deftly evaded the blade, she launched an assault on the guests from the MO family. Must she refrain from slaying the county guards while sparing these MO family guests? She had long perceived this group of MO family guests as nefarious. To kill them would be merely to eliminate a threat. How audacious they were to contemplate murder. In the midst of the escalating crisis, another guest charged forth. Clad only in a vest amidst the autumn chill, his muscular physique rippling as he unleashed a powerful punch, the sinews of his arm forming a miniature wave, aimed directly at the delicate visage of Xiao Bingbing. Infuriated, she had no choice but to raise her palm in defense. The collision of fist and palm erupted with a thunderous sound. Xiao Bingbing, having lost her footing, was propelled backward, staggering several steps before regaining her balance. She clenched her numbed fist, gazing at the encroaching MO family guests. Her fury was palpable. In a fair fight, none of these individuals could match her prowess. Yet, regrettably, they moved in concert, leaving her momentarily ensnared. Chapter 394. The head of the MO family, young Master Qinlang, seeks an audience. TSK, dear beauty. Why must you oppose the MO family? Are you aware of whom you are offending this time? One MO family alone is beyond your capacity to confront, let alone the far more formidable influence lurking behind this incident. A male guest, delicately twirling a lotus finger, spoke in a sweet, affected tone, gazing pityingly at the trapped Xiao Bingbing. Cease your resistance. Surrender. With your skills, should you choose to ally with the MO family, your status will assuredly rise above its current insignificance. With my intercession on your behalf, you may even find sisterhood in the future. Very well. Those two rascals just bullied me. You shall slay them, and I and my sister will pledge our allegiance to the MO family. Xiao Bingbing provocatively pointed at the two guests who had just harassed her. The guest with the lotus finger cast a sidelong glance, curling his lip. That won't do. We are sisters, and I must prioritize my own safety. Then what nonsense are you spouting? You pathetic coward. Do not think for a moment that I am unaware of your true identity. Xiao Bingbing retorted, her expression shifting to one of heightened tension. The coward increasingly resembled a notorious fugitive, a hawk, wanted internationally. Despite his effeminate appearance, his malevolence surpassed that of any. Many unfortunate women, deceived by his facade, had ultimately met their demise, their bodies mutilated beyond recognition. Moreover, this hawk's nefarious activities extended beyond the borders of Long Country, leaving a trail of atrocities in neighboring lands. His crimes too numerous to recount. Due to his exceptional skills, he had thus far eluded capture. Little did she expect him to be concealed within the MO family. Such a MO family, such a haven for criminals. Sister, keen eyes indeed, you have recognized him. Let us vow to be sisters in our next lives. The hawk chuckled sinisterly, his gaze fixated on Xiao Bingbing's enchanting figure, his pleasure intensifying. If deception was futile, then force would suffice. His curiosity piqued as he pondered whether, if the feminine traits of Xiao Bingbing were erased, her beauty would still remain intact. With a swift movement of his elongated arms, two glinting surgical blades materialized in the grasp of the falcon. Concealed within the ranks of the county guards, he stealthily advanced, while several other guest officials brazenly charged towards Xiao Bingbing. Get away from me! Xiao Bingbing seethed in fury, her longsword slicing and cleaving, neutralizing the onslaught of the guest officials, and with a powerful kick, she sent one burly guest official sprawling. Her expression was taut, vigilance heightened, as the falcon had just vanished from sight. However cautious her defenses, as several guest officials engaged her, a visual gap emerged. At that moment, the falcon flashed out from the side, the surgical blades aiming directly at her hamstrings. Should her tendons be severed, she would be rendered immobile, a lamb awaiting slaughter. Damn it! Xiao Bingbing fumed, as two guest officials attacked her, while she exerted all her strength to fend them off. She deftly maneuvered her feet to evade the trajectory of the blades. Yet, despite her efforts, she was still grazed. With a sickening sound, the surgical blade sliced her calf, leaving two crimson trails that oozed blood, staining her stockings adorned with letters. Bingbing, Xiao Chu-Chu, despite being struck by a guest official's palm, pressed forward, forcing the falcon to retreat with her longsword. positioning herself protectively behind her sister. Glancing down at the wound from which blood flowed incessantly, her heart ached as she urged, "I will clear the way for you. Escape. Escape my foot." Xiao Bingbing spat, sending another county guard flying with a slap, gritting her teeth and enduring the pain. This bunch of scoundrels didn't even allow her a moment to tend to her wound. How could she possibly flee? With the Falcon and the guest officials from the MO family present, it was no longer a matter of facing hundreds of county guards alone. Even if she could find a way out, leaving her sister behind would be tantamount to inviting death. If only the senior and second sisters were here, these scoundrels would all meet their demise. Damn it all. After so long executing missions since descending the mountain, she had never felt so stifled. It was agonizing. "Sister, if I am killed, destroy my body first. Even in death, I do not wish to fall into the hands of the Falcon." She cast a glance towards the despicable figure of the Falcon, a chill coursing through her at the thought of his heinous deeds, her fury gradually morphing into dread. Even in death, she could not bear to be defiled in such a manner. Xiao Chu vanquished the dozen or so county guard before her, her anger fueling her fierce tactics, resulting in casualties among the guards. Regret gnawed at her. Had she foreseen this, she would never have brought her sister to protect Chu Mingyao. Now, her sister was embroiled in this chaos, unable to escape. Time ticked away as the county guards relentlessly charged, wearing down the sister's stamina. Meanwhile, the MO family's guest officials stood by, watching coldly. These individuals were astute, having no intention of risking their lives against Xiao Chu and Xiao Bingbing, instead opting to seal off their escape routes. As the county guards thoroughly exhaust these two sisters, how delightful it would be to seize the opportunity. "Sister, I truly wish to eliminate these bothersome individuals once and for all. They infuriate me." The wounds on Xiao Bingbing's body multiply, all inflicted by the county guards. These ruffians, undaunted by death, relentlessly charged to the forefront upon noticing their hesitation. The master was beaten to death with a flurry of clubs, not to mention these are elite county guards. "Little beauty, are you nearing your breaking point?" The hawk-eyed onlookers, reveling in the sisters' increasingly precarious situation, began to mock them gleefully. "Go on, while there's still warmth left, perhaps one might still benefit." The lady only commanded a kill. She never said we couldn't indulge in a little fun beforehand. These two exquisite gems, their figures, their beauty, truly a rarity in this world. I've encountered fine specimens before, but never have I come across such exceptional ones. Several guests, their eyes ablaze with desire, fixated on the sisters, their gazes roaming incessantly, hearts racing with anticipation. The sisters' current state of disarray and embarrassment starkly contrasted with their previous pride and innocence, making them all the more tantalizing. "Sister." Xiao Bingbing felt a surge of despair. Xiao Chu furrowed her brow, momentarily at a loss for how to act. At that moment, not far away, a Maybach that had long since parked began to slowly advance as the opportunity presented itself. Honk! Honk! The blaring horn pierced the atmosphere, particularly jarring amidst the tension. Yet, a few centurions at the rear, resembling clueless fools, stood there, barking orders with fervor. At Qin Lang's signal, the driver of the Maybach slammed on the gas. With a thud, a centurion was sent flying several meters. Another thud followed as yet another centurion was struck down, collapsing to the ground, writhing in uncertainty between life and death. The bulletproof Maybach, with its hard exterior and glass, could withstand even a sniper's bullet, let alone the cold weapons brandished by the county guards. The driver, now exhilarated, circled around, sending 3 centurions flying, and pursued the remaining 2 for nearly 50 meters before finally creating a path, arriving not far from Xiao Chu and Xiao Bingbing. The Maybach came to a halt, and under the command of the centurions, they surrounded it completely. Upon exiting the vehicle, the driver did not even glance at the crowd, but instead proceeded to the rear, opening the door to welcome the young master. Then, standing firm, he raised his voice and bellowed toward the MO family's direction, the head of the MO family. Young Master Qin Lang seeks an audience. Chapter 395. Fearless. Qin Lang's dominance, the head of the MO family. Young Master Qin Lang seeks an audience. The driver continued to call out loudly, his voice echoing in the eerily silent MO residence, as if all life had vanished. After several shouts, he turned back to Qin Lang, saying, "Young Master, it seems that old MO Kong intends to feign death and refuses to come out." Indeed, Qin Lang nodded blandly. It was an expected occurrence that MO Kong would emerge at this juncture, which defied reason. Given the current situation, a meeting between the two was bound to be unproductive. Considering his identity here, It was better to feign ignorance than to engage in empty pleasantries. Meanwhile, Xiao Chuchu and Xiao Bingbing had already moved closer to Qinlang. Glancing at the vacant Maybach, Xiao Chuchu expressed her anxiety. Is no one here? Huh. Qinlang scoffed. Do you recall what I told you? If there is even the slightest mishap with Chu Mingyao, all the blame shall fall upon you. Now that someone has been abducted, you dare to complain about the lack of my reinforcements? Who gave you such audacity? Xiao Chuchu opened her mouth but found herself speechless. Xiao Bingbing, however, indignantly retorted, Qinlang, you're going too far. Who could have known that the MO family had so many experts? The one who captured Chu Mingyao was skilled in disguise and stealth. If it weren't for the clues my sister and I uncovered, by the time you realized she was taken, it would have been too late. Moreover, I am severely injured now. I may not have contributed, but I have endured hardships. Can't you show a little understanding? She twisted her injured leg toward Qinlang, as if to say, look, there's so much blood. How could he flaunt his incompetence in front of me when he failed to protect anyone? Qinlang maintained a stern expression, showing no sign of empathy. In that moment, he resembled an emotionless, absolute leader. Xiao Bingbing wished to argue further, but was stopped by Xiao Chuchu, who shook her head and signaled for her to remain silent. There was nothing more to say. They were strangers to Qinlang, and it was only natural that he would harbor disdain for their attempt to exploit him. Furthermore, it was indeed their fault that led to Chu Mingyao's abduction. Though harsh, it was the truth. Seeing that Qinlang seemed to have severed ties with the Xiao sisters, a centurion of the county guard stepped forward and spoke softly. Young Master Qin, these two women have killed several of our guards. We must apprehend them. I implore you to show leniency. Most of these centurions had either benefited from the MO family or sought to ascend the social ladder by aligning themselves with its influence. These two women were specifically targeted by the lady of the house, and thus they could not be allowed to escape. Observing Qinlang's apparent indifference toward the two women, they sought to seize the opportunity for their own gain. Qinlang turned away, disregarding the centurion's words, and instead focused on several guest officials from the MO family. Seize them, commanded the centurion. Instantly, dozens of guards advanced to surround Xiao Chuchu and Xiao Bingbing. Sister, this guy's going too far. He clearly has no intention of helping us, not even willing to utter a single word. Xiao Bingbing clenched her fists in frustration, gazing at Qinlang's profile, wishing fervently to confront him with a fierce retort. Xiao Chuchu felt a profound desolation within her heart. Both she and her sister bore wounds, and they had hoped that Qinlang's arrival would herald a change in their fortunes. Yet, who could have foreseen that Qinlang would be so heartless? Not even a single word of reassurance escaped his lips. As she gazed at the approaching throng of county guards, her spirits sank to despair. Adding to their predicament, the MO family's guest was also watching them with predatory intent. Just as the encroaching guards began to encircle the sisters, an unexpected gunshot rang out. With a resounding crack, the commanding centurion fell to the ground, struck in the shoulder. Clutching his wound, he looked at Qinlang with a mix of fear and disbelief, exclaiming, Young Master Qin, what is the meaning of this? What does it mean? Did my young master consent to your apprehension of us? Such audacity. You presume to interpret my young master's silence? Who the hell gave you the audacity? Furthermore, must those who have slain a few guards be apprehended? I just sent 3 centurions flying. Do you intend to arrest me as well? The soldier cursed vehemently, glaring at the surrounding guards without a trace of fear. Even if it were just him and his young master, it felt like they were in a place devoid of authority. Speaking to the young master, a mere centurion lacked the standing to do so. Given his current position, if transferred to Jiangnan County, these centurions would rank 2 tiers below him. A bunch of worthless scum, unworthy to stand before his young master. This is a beauty elixir. Consuming it will expedite your recovery. Qinlang produced 2 pills and offered them to the Xiao sisters. Despite his cold demeanor, one could hardly remain unmoved by the sight of such strikingly beautiful twin sisters, resembling exquisite lotuses emerging from water. A judicious lesson was necessary, but one must also offer a sweet reward. Otherwise, the sisters might find themselves opposing him. At least you possess a semblance of conscience. I apologize for my earlier insults. Xiao Bingbing murmured, accepting the beauty elixir from Qinlang's hand. She and her sister each swallowed a pill without hesitation. There was no need for hesitation at this juncture. Without Qinlang, their escape would be impossible. As soon as Xiao Bingbing ingested the elixir, her eyes widened in astonishment as a refreshing sensation coursed through her abdomen, radiating to her limbs, particularly her injured calves, where the effect was most pronounced. To her amazement, she noticed her calf wound visibly healing at an astonishing rate. This elixir was miraculous, far superior to Qianqian's healing ointment. Xiao Chu-Chu, feeling her own injuries mending, cast a surprised glance at Qin Lang. So, this was the esteemed heir of the Qin family? The two pills he casually produced possessed such extraordinary healing properties. They were even more effective than her junior sister's exclusive ointment. Though he appeared cold and indifferent, he demonstrated a surprising humanity. Such elixirs, surely the Qin family could not provide them in unlimited quantities? How astonishing. He was generous enough to share two with them. If only his words were not so acerbic. He was quite pleasing to the eye. Xiao Bingbing murmured softly, her gaze fixated on Qin Lang, who had given two beauty pills and then dismissed them entirely, arousing her curiosity. Mo Kong, within 3 minutes, surrender Chu Mingyao to me. Otherwise, the Mo family shall face utter annihilation today. Qin Lang's voice turned frigid as he brazenly threatened the Mo family, who remained eerily silent beneath the scrutiny of many eyes. What audacity! To claim the Mo family would be left with nothing? Even the formidable Qin family lacks the audacity to be so presumptuous. Zhao Mingwei observed from the third-floor loft, watching the unfolding events at the Mo family's entrance. Though the Qin family was powerful, it was a force the Mo family could not contest. Yet, Zhao Mingwei, being a member of the esteemed Zhao family, could not allow such a blatant affront to go unchallenged, lest the Zhao family lose face. Did Qin Lang intend to abduct Chu Mingyao? She would not simply acquiesce to his wishes. Casting a sidelong glance at Chu Mingyao, Zhao Mingyue's lips curled into a cold smirk. Indeed, she possesses the charm to ensnare my son, captivating even the eldest scion of the Qin family. But does she truly believe she can exit the Mo family's gates unscathed this time? With a glance at the guest elder beside her, Zhao Mingyue coldly commanded, "Take action and annihilate the 3 individuals accompanying Qin Lang. Let him see the consequences of my son's demise. Anyone who dares to cross me must pay the price." Indeed, she hesitated to kill Qin Lang at the Mo family's doorstep. But what were the military and the Xiao sisters? Mere trifles. To eliminate them would bear no repercussions. Even Qin Lang would face repercussions. This was merely the interest to be paid up front. She would later sever ties with the guest elder while ensuring Qin Lang was healed and sent away intact, leaving no room for speculation in the outside world. The final reckoning would come later. The guest elder in the black robe swiftly vanished from the third-floor loft, only to reappear beside the hawk and falcon guest elders, whispering a few words. Instantly, some of the guest elders furrowed their brows. Damn it, such a massive bomb, and we're just expected to handle it? Even if we don't kill him, a mere injury could jeopardize our chances of returning to Longhua. Some guest elders grumbled in discontent, surprised that Zhao Mingwei, who appeared so delicate, could act with such resolute determination. To eliminate Qin Lang would risk exposing their secrets. Should that happen, their existence in Longhua would be in peril, and the bounty on their heads would escalate to the highest level, with even the Mo family unable to shield them. Enough. After years of languishing in Jiangnan County, I'm weary of it. Achieving this task will yield substantial rewards, allowing me to live freely abroad for the rest of my life. Exactly. You men, with your short-sightedness. It's just a matter of killing a few people. I want the bodies of those sisters. The hawk-like figure, with delicately poised fingers, let out a melodious insult, before casting a flirtatious glance at Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bingbing. Attack! The cloaked guest acted first, charging towards Qin Lang. His pride lay in his ability to disguise himself. Even if he were to eliminate Qin Lang, he could easily assume a new identity and live freely elsewhere. Fear was utterly irrelevant. Do you dare to harm my master? You seek death. Junzi's gaze sharpened as he drew a hefty black machete, confronting the cloaked man head-on. In mere seconds, they exchanged numerous blows. Junzi's powerful strikes wielding the machete with remarkable dexterity, showcasing his superior physique by at least 100 points over the black-clad guest. Yet, the latter was unervingly elusive. Despite his lack of true strength, his agility allowed him to evade fatal strikes. No matter how fiercely you fight, you won't land a lethal blow. This fellow is extraordinarily quick, and his movements are unpredictable. You must not underestimate him. Over time, your bodyguard may find himself in peril, Xiao Chu-Chu cautioned from the sidelines. No sooner had she spoken than a gunshot rang out, striking the cloaked guest in the leg and causing him to falter. Seizing the opportunity, Junzi lunged, bringing his machete down with unerring precision. With a sickening thud, blood erupted as a gruesome gash marred the cloaked man's face, his head cleaved in two. crashing backward with finality. What did you just say? Qin Lang casually blew the smoke from his ivory gun barrel, glancing at Xiao Chu-Chu. Xiao Chu-Chu rolled her eyes. Nothing. Only Qin Lang possessed the audacity to draw a weapon in such a moment. Boisterous yet devoid of martial decorum. All of you, attack together. Watch out for that man's gun. It has a small magazine and can hold only a few bullets. Stay alert and subdue him. The burly guest succinctly rallied his comrades before charging forward. Several guests followed closely behind, a total of 9, each a formidable fighter. Shameless fiend, perish. Xiao Bingbing, having recovered significantly, brandished her long sword and surged forth. Xiao Chu-Chu, equally undeterred, joined her. The two women collided fiercely with the 9 guests of the MO family. Initially, when facing the county guard and the 9 guests, they had felt overwhelmed, but with only the MO family guests now, the tide had turned. Not to mention, Junzi had also joined the fray after dispatching the cloaked adversary. Be sensible and remain where you are. Qin Lang cast a glance at the captain of the county guard, then stepped purposefully towards the MO family gate. Get out of my way. The burly guest rushed to intercept him. When Junzi swiftly dispatched him, did he truly think he could hinder my master's path? Sweet boy, let me show you some affection. The hawk-like figure brandished a scalpel, darting towards Qin Lang. Vile coward, get out of my sight. Xiao Bingbing unleashed a dazzling flurry of swordplay, causing the hawk-like figure's shoulder to burst forth with a vivid spray of crimson. They are all sisters. Since you have chosen your own path to destruction, I shall not hold back. With a frown, Ying Huan abandoned Qin Lang and joined the 2 guest elders to encircle Xiao Bingbing. Gradually, the 9 guest elders were forcefully dragged away from Qin Lang's location by the Xiao sisters and Junzi. As Qin Lang walked towards the MO family, it felt as though he had entered a desolate land. With less than a few dozen meters remaining to reach the MO family, a county guard stood before him. Young Master Qin, this place is perilous. I must ask you to retreat. This county guard had been instructed by the centurion to deliberately block his path. Bang! The only response was the sound of a gunshot and the fall of a lifeless body. Without uttering a single word, Qin Lang did not pause in his stride. One county guard fell, and immediately another, trembling in fear, stood in Qin Lang's way. As expected, with another bang, another life was extinguished. You two move forward. The centurion urged 2 county guards to sacrifice themselves to obstruct Qin Lang's path. He was unaware of how many bullets could be concealed within that small handgun. There were hundreds of county guards present. He could not fathom that Qin Lang's gun could possibly contain hundreds of bullets. Bang! Bang! 2 more gunshots rang out, followed by the thud of 2 more county guards collapsing lifelessly, and then the crisp sound of an empty shell. Clatter! Out of bullets! The centurion felt a cold smirk rising within him. Indeed, while he dared not confront Qin Lang directly, he believed that without bullets, Qin Lang would not be able to breach the human wall formed by the county guards to enter the MO family. A fool's dream. He led dozens of men forward to block Qin Lang's way. Young Master Qin, this place is dangerous. I implore you to retreat. With a sense of invulnerability, knowing his gun was empty, Qin Lang appeared before him like a lamb awaiting slaughter, utterly unafraid. Qin Lang gazed straight ahead, his steps slow, unwavering, and he did not even bother to change the magazine. How disgraceful! After retracting his ivory handgun into his embrace, he raised his index finger, palm facing the centurion, and slightly bent it. The centurion, perplexed, had yet to comprehend the meaning behind this gesture when he heard a soft sound and looked down to see a crimson bloom blossoming on his chest, struck by a sniper's bullet. Before the panic could fully rise within him, the sound of bullets piercing flesh enveloped his ears. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Chapter 397. The calamity of the MO family. The incessant sound of sniper bullets rang in his ears. It was only now that the centurion realized the absurdity of his earlier thoughts. He had assumed that Qin Lang would merely reload a few bullets. Who could have known that he had secretly summoned a sniper team? Madness. At the gates of the MO family, firing upon county guards? Even the Qin family of the capital could not be so audacious. Unfortunately, before the centurion could contemplate further, another sniper bullet struck his head, and he fell lifelessly, collapsing straight back. Before Qin Lang, the previously formidable wall of people collapsed in an instant. Casting a dispassionate glance, he observed the retreating county guards beside him, a cold smile curling on his lips. He had already warned these individuals to distance themselves, yet they insisted on courting death, attempting to cling to the powerful leg of the MO family. Could it be that his Qin family was inferior to the MO family of Jiangnan County? To kill was to kill. There was no need for concern. Sister, is this fellow perhaps going a bit too far? Xiao Bingbing, while holding back several guest elders, approached Xiao Chu-Chu and, glancing at the sea of corpses, spoke with a hint of worry. Xiao Chu-Chu pressed her lips together, her long sword trembling as she sent a guest elder flying, pondering the dire situation. The number of dead was excessive, all county guard from Jiangnan, and this matter had escalated beyond control. Hearing the two women's conversation, the soldier nearby grew increasingly agitated, swinging his large black blade with greater speed, grumbling, "How ungrateful. This shouldn't be the case. If our young master refrains from killing, you too would be hunted throughout Jiangnan County, even if you managed to escape." I had already advised our young master to use his status to subdue these county guards, yet he refused to heed my counsel, insisting on his reckless course. Does he not understand the consequences of slaying these guards? Is he attempting to suppress our transgressions with an iron fist simply because he saw us dispatching them? Xiao Bingbing's eyes widened in disbelief. How could this be possible? Even Xiao Chu-Chu wore an expression of incredulity. The cold and ruthless Qin Lang. Yet he performed such acts of protection for them. She was reluctant to believe it, yet the current circumstances compelled her to trust the soldier's words. Gazing at Qin Lang's retreating figure, Xiao Chu-Chu felt a bizarre emotion stir within her, a profound curiosity. What was this man truly plotting? Why did his words starkly contrast with his actions? A man of contradictory nature? At this moment, Qin Lang had arrived before the Mo family's entrance. Just as he was about to step over the threshold, a hidden guest elder from the Mo family leaped forth, rushing madly towards him. This was an assassin, a killer raised by the Mo family, intent on delivering a harsh lesson to Qin Lang. However, before the assassin could fully bring down his massive blade, a mesmerizing light erupted within the Mo family courtyard, and the entire assassin was obliterated into a gruesome mass, splattering across the courtyard. Qin Lang, you will die for this. The second sister, Su Chan, was a solitary figure. The attempts of Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian to keep an eye on her were nothing short of fanciful dreams. It was impossible to confine her or monitor her constantly. Whenever she found a moment, she would slip away. After being discovered by Qin Lang, she had remained hidden. But now she finally revealed herself, armed with the blood-red blade of a genetic warrior. Su Chan had discerned the trajectory of that strange energy beam well enough to avoid harming her allies. As for the enemies, regardless of how shattered it may be, it matters not. You wretched demon, how dare you commit murder within the ancestral home of the Mo family? Such audacity. Attack together. Eliminate this woman. The Mo family holds a prominent position in Jiangnan County, housing not only esteemed guests but also numerous skilled practitioners in secrecy. At this moment, they all emerged. While they dared not confront Qin Lang directly, the woman beside him was utterly undeterred. Dozens of agile Mo family guards charged forward. Su Chan glanced back at Qin Lang. He casually remarked, "I have declared it. Today, not a single soul from the Mo family shall remain." An opportunity was given, and since Mo Kong refuses to reveal himself, he must face the consequences. No sooner had he spoken than Su Chan advanced boldly against the throng. With her prowess, none present, save for Qin Lang, could rival her. And with the blood-red blade of a genetic warrior in hand, her combat strength surged dramatically, like chopping vegetables. The ancestral home of the Mo family was soon filled with the anguished cries of guards, blood raining down, and chunks of flesh flying. This place, under Su Chan's onslaught, had transformed entirely into a slaughterhouse. Within mere breaths, dozens of guards lay lifeless, not a single complete corpse to be found. Those who recklessly charged forward were swiftly obliterated by the bizarre energy of the blood-red blade. The courtyard of the Mo family fell into a haunting silence. The surviving guards sought refuge, fearful of re-emerging. Just as Qin Lang prepared to take another step, a middle-aged man strode forth with an air of authority, his demeanor stern. He was Mo Kong, the current head of the Mo family. "Young Master Qin, your esteemed presence graces us, yet I have merely been momentarily delayed. Is it not excessive to commit such brutal acts?" Mo Kang's piercing gaze fixed upon Qin Lang. He was aware of Qin Lang's formidable background, yet his apprehension lay with the Qin family, with its ruling figure, rather than this young man still wandering and honing his skills. "Excessive? You abduct my woman and now summon the county guards to obstruct her rescue. The Mo family truly wields considerable influence. You may strike at me, but now you attempt to turn the tables?" Qin Lang sneered at Mo Kong, finding amusement in the tardy appearance of the current head of the Mo family. He feigned ignorance regarding his wife's actions outside while fully aware of the situation. "Now, Witnessing the chaos unfold, he sought to impose his authority. Would he fall for such tricks? He was not some so-called child of fortune. Why should he concern himself with this or that? Young Master Qin, my son has perished at the Chu family. Surely an explanation is warranted? Perhaps Miss Chu was indeed at our Mo family, but that was merely the folly of some short-sighted women. If young Master Qin desires her, you may take her. At this moment, Mo Kong could no longer maintain the facade of ignorance. He had no intention of remaining passive. The sheer might of the woman beside Qin Lang was too terrifying. Even his meticulously trained guards stood no chance against her. If Qin Lang continues his reckless antics, who knows how many lives will be lost? He intends to bring matters to a close. Your son deserves his fate, requiring no further explanation. I have offered you a chance, yet you failed to seize it. Now, the Mo family must bear the consequences of their own actions, without anyone else to blame. Qin Lang spoke with an air of indifference, casting a glance at Su Chan, reiterating, I do not intend to repeat myself. Upon hearing this, Su Chan rushed out. In an instant, the head of a Mo family guest elder flew from his shoulders. Several esteemed elders of the Mo family were also utterly obliterated by a strange energy force. Even Mo Kong, the current head of the Mo family, lost an arm, sent soaring into the air. The carnage, a ruthless bloodshed, not even the appearance of the Mo family's patriarch could halt Qin Lang's advance. One word echoed, kill. Chapter 398. All part of Qin Lang's scheme. Qin Lang, have you lost your mind? Mo Kong clutched his bleeding arm, retreating in a frenzy, gritting his teeth in agony. Insanity. How dare this man? He truly intends to kill him. Even several elders of the Mo family had just been reduced to mere fragments of flesh in that fleeting moment. Is this man a devil? Even the future heir of the Qin family in the capital cannot be this arrogant. Stop. You must stop. On the upper floor, witnessing the bloody scene, Zhao Mingyue could no longer maintain her composure. She never anticipated that Qin Lang would act with such resolve. Most alarmingly, he was surrounded by so many formidable experts. Furthermore, a concealed sniper team somewhere instilled fear in the entire county guard, rendering them unable to move. With her eyes ablaze, Zhao Mingyue rushed forward, flanked by two guards escorting Chu Mingyao, a dagger pressed against her neck. The situation had escalated far beyond Zhao Mingyue's expectations. There was no longer any need to preserve appearances. The mask was utterly torn away. Do you not wish to save her? Get out of here, and afterwards, I will ensure Chu Mingyao's safe return. Zhao Mingyue pointed towards the captured Chu Mingyao, her expression cold as she fixed her gaze on Qin Lang, her thoughts racing. If Qin Lang's people continued their reckless behavior, the Mo family would indeed face a bloody reckoning. No one could stop the woman wielding a bloodied blade beside Qin Lang. Her terrifying presence was enough to instill dread. However, since Qin Lang cared so deeply for Chu Mingyao, there was leverage to be had. With this as a threat, even Qin Lang would hesitate to act recklessly. Although he had promised to return Chu Mingyao unharmed after retreating, it did not imply that Qin Lang could reunite with her without consequence. Outside the Mo family estate, nearly 100 soldiers of the Jiangnan County Guard lay dead. Several esteemed elders of the Mo family had just been slain by Qin Lang's followers. Such a brutal and bloody incident would render even the Qin family unable to protect Qin Lang. Not to mention, the Zhao and Mo families would undoubtedly seek to escalate the matter, spreading the news far and wide, ensuring that the Qin family could not conceal their misdeeds. This was merely a temporary measure, as long as Qin Lang retreats. She is certain that this scoundrel will no longer be able to evade justice and will face severe retribution, paying a grievous price. The thought alone ignites within Zhao Mingyue not fear, but rather a thrilling anticipation of vengeance. Seizing this opportunity, she contemplates utilizing the Zhao family's influence, perhaps even consigning Qin Lang to an irretrievable abyss. This was a realization she had not previously entertained. Nor could she have imagined Qin Lang committing such bloody and ruthless acts. Is this Zhao Mingyue, the beautiful mother of Mo Bai? Indeed, her beauty remains exquisite. Even as the years have passed, she retains her charm, now imbued with an added allure. Qin Lang gazes at Zhao Mingyue, sharing a name with his rather ungrateful mother-in-law, with a hint of mischief. Witnessing this, Mo Kong, despite the intense agony coursing through his body from his severed arm, feels an irksome frustration. Why do you not withdraw? Do you think I would hesitate to kill Chu Mingyao? Zhao Mingyue rebukes him, feeling uncomfortable under his gaze. Having long departed from her youthful days, it is the first time she has encountered someone who would regard her with such frivolity. though many lecherous men harbor such thoughts. They dare not express them due to her status, relegating their desires to clandestine musings. Only Qin Lang dares to be so brazen. Do you believe I am the one being threatened? Qin Lang scoffs, throwing a glance at Su Chan. In an instant, Su Chan vanishes, only to reappear before Mo Kong. A dagger plunges straight into Mo Kong's heart. You dare to kill me? Mo Kong coughs blood. Disbelief etched across his face as he gazes towards Qin Lang. His remaining arm, moving from his severed limb, clutches the dagger, collapsing in agony as blood seeps relentlessly from the wound. Mo Kong. Zhao Mingyue casts a glance back and hastens to support her longtime companion. You mad woman. You have ruined the Mo family. Ruined me. Mo Kong cries out in despair, his heart shattered, life slipping away. Summoning the last vestiges of his strength, he delivers a scathing reproach to Zhao Mingyue. Then his eyes roll back, and he dies on the spot. Zhao Mingyue, in sorrow, covers her face. In one fleeting moment, she was the matriarch of the Mo family, and in the next, she becomes a widow still possessing her grace. The abrupt shift in identity leaves her dizzy. How deeply has that scathing reproach from her husband wounded her? She stands there frozen. When she regains her senses, her heart is filled with the flames of hatred. Kill that vixen. Eliminate her. Zhao Mingyue disregards any semblance of strategy, pointing at Chu Mingyao and screaming with all her heart. She desires Chu Mingyao's demise. She wishes to plunge Qin Lang into madness. Even if it costs her life, the Zhao family will exact revenge. Qin Lang will pay a grievous price for this bloody affair. The two guards exchange glances, momentarily a loss as to what course of action to take. To kill Chu Mingyao? They would surely meet their demise. To spare her? Perhaps there still remains a glimmer of hope. Yet, before they could articulate their intentions, Chu Mingyao had already broken free from her restraints. A dagger glided gently across the throats of two guards, leaving crimson trails as their windpipes were severed. They could not utter a sound, collapsing to the ground, gasping in agony before their eyes closed forever. Are you going to kill me? Do you realize the effort I exerted to feign capture? The strength of the Mo family's guests and guards was woefully inadequate. With but a mere lift of her hand, their lives could be extinguished. Chu Mingyao tore away her disguise, revealing her true visage. Astonishingly, it was the blood-colored mandala, who had assumed the guise of Chu Mingyao upon receiving Qin Lang's orders. The game of waiting for the rabbit had come to an end, and the cat-and-mouse chase was drawing to a close. There was no longer any need for pretense. You're not Chu Mingyao. Zhao Mingyue's eyes widened in disbelief as she gazed upon the blood-colored mandala, her breath caught in her throat. Everything she had believed turned out to be a mere illusion? Was everything orchestrated within Qin Lang's scheme? Even Chu Mingyao was merely an impersonation? This implied that Qin Lang's fury was but a facade. He had no real reason to oppose the Mo family, merely seizing this opportunity to annihilate them. Boom! The revelation struck Zhao Mingyue like a bolt from the blue, leaving her slumped on the ground, her once elegant dress now smeared with dust, her fair legs stained with the blood of the guards. You demon, you shall pay the price. You will meet a wretched end. Having slain the county guard's men and obliterated the Mo family, even the Qin family cannot protect you. Ha ha ha. I may perish, but I fear not, for you shall accompany me to the grave. Laughter erupted from her, the future heir of the Qin family buried alongside me. Zhao Mingyue, indeed, finds herself in a fortuitous position. Shaking her head vehemently, she struggled to grasp the reality of it all like a mad woman, her face stained with tears. Yet, soon she emerged from her anguish, pointing towards Qin Lang and erupting into laughter, akin to a lunatic. It felt as if she held a precious gem of knowledge. Convinced that Qin Lang's demise was inevitable, merely a matter of time. Aside from this woman, all others from the Mo family were to be slaughtered. Qin Lang instructed the blood-colored mandala and Su Chan, and the two women stormed into the depths of the Mo residence, commencing a savage massacre. Cries of agony echoed everywhere. No matter how well the guards concealed themselves, they were dragged out and met their end. This included the elder members of the Mo family, some of whom, in their old age, had allowed Zhao Mingyue to abduct Chu Mingyao and, upon learning the truth, still intended to feign death. All were vanquished by the blood-colored mandala and Su Chan. The Mo family was engulfed in a cacophony of despair. Meanwhile, Qin Lang approached Zhao Mingyue step by step, gripping her delicate chin, a cold smile gracing his lips. Do you truly believe I will perish? You will pay the ultimate price. Even the Qin family cannot shield you. My Zhao family shall never allow me to be slain by your hand. Zhao Mingyue clenched her teeth, her heart ablaze with fury as she roared. Very well. I shall grant you a few more days of life, allowing you the opportunity to witness my inevitable fate. King Long Gresh Zhao Mingyue's chin, meticulously scrutinizing the alluring visage of this widow, still possessing a remarkable charm. Chapter 399. Speak freely, speak more. Setting aside Zhao Mingyue's character for the moment, her beauty alone eclipses many so-called starlets who have achieved viral fame online. At times, it seems that time is particularly benevolent to the affluent. Even at this age, she retains the softness of youth. Her skin, when pinched, is smooth and tender, reminiscent of an infant's delicate complexion. The matter has been resolved. This is the ancestral home of the Mo family, where only direct descendants and trusted insiders remain, all of whom have been thoroughly exterminated. Even core members of the Mo family, who had sought refuge in a concealed underground chamber, have been unearthed and eliminated. The blood-red mandala returned, her expression consistently unperturbed. The annihilation of the Mo family's direct lineage was hardly a ruthless act in her eyes. Moreover, upon witnessing Zhao Mingyue slumped on the ground, she felt a sense of vindication, believing that the Mo family deserved such a fate. Having disguised herself as Chu Mingyao, she had endured countless insults and malicious words from Zhao Mingyue, whose remarks had reached the pinnacle of shamelessness and vileness. All of this transpired with the tacit consent of the Mo family. Had it not been for their approval, how could Zhao Mingyue have mobilized so many of the Mo family's guest elders? You wretched fiend, you shall pay for your deeds. The Zhao family will not allow your devilish behavior to go unpunished. The Qin family will also face retribution from numerous clans within the capital because of you. Zhao Mingyue glared fiercely at Qin Lang, her anger surging within her, causing her body to tremble violently. Leave, Qin Lang said nonchalantly, yawning as he exited the Mo family estate, while the blood-red mandala seized Zhao Mingyue to depart alongside her. As for Su Chan, after executing the command to annihilate the Mo family, she vanished from sight, lurking in the shadows. Outside the Mo family estate, the Shao sisters and Junzi had already reduced the 9 guest elders to 5, the situation overwhelmingly in their favor. Moreover, a sniper team lay in ambush nearby. Should any of the Mo family's guest elders hesitate, even slightly, bullets would rain down from all directions. Madam, one of the Mo family's guest elders, upon seeing Zhao Mingyue being dragged by the blood-red mandala, widened his eyes in shock. They had heard the screams echoing from within the Missouri estate, but were unable to investigate due to their restraint. Witnessing Zhao Mingyue's capture, they suddenly felt a loss of resolve. With the Mo family's direct lineage extinguished and Zhao Mingyue apprehended, would they still cling to their delusions? Qin Lang regarded the remaining guest elders with a cold gaze. Upon seeing Zhao Mingyue's ashen visage, the hawk-like figure understood immediately and fell to his knees with a thud. Young Master Qin, I am merely a guest elder of the Mo family. Everything I have done was at the behest of this vile woman. I bear no direct conflict of interest with you, and am willing to surrender. If you so desire, I can become your loyal servant. Young Master Qin, I too wish to submit. Young Master Qin, one after another, the 5 guest elders knelt before him. Upon witnessing the scene, Zhao Mingyue was engulfed in a fresh wave of fury, her voice rising to a hysterical crescendo. You worthless scoundrels. The Mo family has treated you well. Yet now you have all turned against us. You deserve to die, all of you. You wretched woman, silence yourself. You ungrateful harlot. We were merely guests of the Mo family, with no obligation to serve your filthy clan. Young Master Qin, as long as you are willing, I can immediately pledge my allegiance to you, offering my servitude. A few guest officials, while hurling insults at Zhao Mingyue, fawned over Qin Lang. He cast a cold glance at them, signaling to Junzi, who understood and seized the moment as several guest officials knelt before him, swiftly dispatching 2 of them. Xiao Chu and Xiao Bing followed suit, each wielding a sword to eliminate 2 more guest officials. Only the swiftest, Ying Huan, managed to escape, cursing Qin Lang as he fled. You scoundrel, we have surrendered, yet you still unleash slaughter. Once my sister escapes, you shall pay dearly for this. Not far away, Ying Huan leaped several meters, resembling a soaring eagle, his speed astonishing. Ha! This fellow does possess some capability. He kills without a flicker of an eye. Allowing him to escape means you will never find peace again. Zhao Mingyue, watching Ying Huan slip away, felt a surge of satisfaction, directing her cold mockery at Qin Lang. As long as he suffered, her heart would be at ease, even if it meant merely adding another target to his list. Who is it? Spare me. Grant me a chance at life. Just as Zhao Mingyue finished her words, Ing Huan's cries for mercy echoed nearby. His eagle-like figure quickened, unaware of the strange crimson rays emanating from an unknown source. Suddenly, his body erupted in midair, disintegrating into a shower of flesh. No remains left. Zhao Mingyue's mouth fell agape, her eyes trembling violently, the muscles of her face convulsing in horror. Alas, what a gruesome death! Qin Lang sighed, casting a glance at Zhao Mingyue. Had she heeded his words and surrendered obediently, she might have met a cleaner end at the hands of Junzi or the Shao sisters. Why resort to escape? Why make threats? Does Su Chan not exist? Young master, how should we deal with these county guards? Junzi approached, gesturing towards the remaining hundreds of guards. Slay the leaders, Qin Lang replied indifferently. These are not like the guest officials. Their identities differ. Most of the MO family's guest officials are tainted. Surrendering ensures a whole corpse, while resisting leads to dismemberment. No issue there. However, the county guards require a modicum of face saving. Just eliminate a few of the leaders. Understood. Junzi quietly retrieved his phone and spoke a few words. Soon, a team of snipers hidden nearby executed a precise headshot on the captains who had been struck by the Maybach. Have all the MO family members truly been killed? Xiao Chuchu's voice trembled with a hint of trepidation as she circled the MO family compound, her heart increasingly unsettled by the sight of the corpses strewn about. Indeed, what was the consequence of the slaughter? Qin Lang cast a sidelong glance at the two sisters of the Xiao family, their appearances strikingly similar, momentarily forgetting their professions. What was their intention? To apprehend me and take credit for this? Xiao Bingbing rolled her eyes, remarking that Qin Lang, with his strong sense of loyalty, had deliberately taken the blame for their misdeeds. The sisters assured him that they would never engage in treachery, promising that even if reprimands came from above, they would stand by his side. However, the magnitude of this incident was such that their words alone might not suffice to alter the higher-ups' perception of the event. The massacre of the MO family. How many would denounce him for his heinous slaughter? Yet in Xiao Bingbing's words, it transformed into an act of loyalty? Such eloquence. Qin Lang gazed at Xiao Bingbing, wishing to pry her lips open to elicit more words from her. In this case, we shall report truthfully to the authorities. The MO family's reckless abduction of Chu Mingyao has indeed crossed a line. Speaking of which, where is Chu Mingyao? As long as she is present, we can leverage this to hold the MO family accountable. Xiao Chuchu glanced around, but Chu Mingyao was nowhere to be found. Zhao Mingyue's chest heaved with agitation. Yet the reality was suffocating. The so-called abduction of Chu Mingyao was merely a scheme of Qin Lang's, and she had unwittingly fallen into it. Such a humiliating affair was too disgraceful to mention. You inquire about Yao Yao? She was frightened and has been taken away by my associates. The scene here is far too gruesome for a young girl to witness. Qin Lang coughed softly, concealing his embarrassment as he regarded the upright Xiao Chuchu and Xiao Bingbing, who were earnestly trying to exonerate him. Some truths were perhaps better left unspoken. As for the MO family's affairs, it would be prudent for you not to meddle. It is beyond your capacity to handle. Though the MO family has been eradicated, this woman is backed by the Zhao family of the capital, a force not to be trifled with by those of your standing. Any schemes you possess should be directed at me. At least the Qin family would not allow me to be at the mercy of the Zhao family. Should it be you too, I fear you would struggle to withstand the wrath of the Zhao family. Qin Lang offered kindly advice. Xiao Bingbing clenched her small fists, biting her lip, wishing to slap herself for her earlier complaints about Qin Lang's inaction before he arrived. Now, faced with actual peril, Qin Lang stood alone, shouldering all the responsibility. This was truly unjust. The teachings of their sect admonished against such ingratitude. Now that the gravity of the situation dawned upon her, it was too late. Qin Lang, there would be no favorable outcome for you. Such a calamitous event would ensure that even the Qin family lacked the power to extricate you unscathed. Do not mention it. With my Zhao family closely observing, any prominent family in the capital that opposes your Qin family will undoubtedly seize this opportunity to strike you down, wishing to see your family falter because of you. Consequently, this will open doors for those families to ascend. As Zhao Mingyue spoke with growing fervor, her mind became clear. Indeed, although the Qin family is formidable, even more so than the Zhao family, the capital is a cauldron of intrigue. And with such a prime opportunity to undermine the Qin family, how could those families remain indifferent? Even if they do not take a stand, they will do everything in their power to covertly assist the Zhao family in suppressing the Qin family. Who knows, even Qin Lang's life may not be spared. Ants can indeed gnaw at elephants. The families in the capital may be inferior to the Qin family, but the disparity is not so vast as to render them impotent. Xiao Chuchu shot a glare at Zhao Mingyue, feeling a twinge of annoyance, yet she could not deny the truth in her words. Her gaze shifted to Qin Lang, and she remarked, albeit crudely, that the reality was as such. This time, even the Qin family might find it difficult to extricate you from this predicament. Why are you two chattering incessantly? Do you think you are particularly eloquent? Qin Lang's face was cold, his tone unyielding. Just get lost and stay out of matters that do not concern you. The further away, the better, you understand? After uttering these words, he did not spare a glance at the Xiao sisters and headed straight for the Maybach. Junzi opened the trunk, and after the blood-soaked mandala stuffed Zhao Mingyue's ample form into the trunk, he too entered the vehicle. It was as if the gruesome scene had no connection to the pristine Maybach, which glided away smoothly. Was that a bit too harsh? Regardless, those two women possess some influence and strength. They could potentially be of considerable assistance to you. Yet, your callousness may offend them, fostering resentment that might backfire on you. The blood-soaked mandala was no longer the solitary assassin ranked among the top three, cold and ruthless only towards enemies. She had gradually learned to view things from Qin Lang's perspective, considering his interests. At the very least, she believed that the Xiao sisters should be enlisted for assistance. Even a small favor would ensure they bore no ill will. Qin Lang extended his hand backward, delivering a sharp flick that rendered Zhao Mingyue, who attempted to ambush him, unconscious. He then said coolly, "Do you truly believe those sisters will turn against me due to my harsh words? Or perhaps they might be upset that I do not appreciate their goodwill? How petty." Qin Lang chuckled. "Your mindset is rather narrow." Meanwhile, in front of the Mo family's old residence, apart from the remaining county guards, only Xiao Chuchu and Xiao Bingbing stood there, exuding an air of desolation. "How vexing. That fellow's words are truly unpleasant," Xiao Bingbing complained. Xiao Chuchu nodded in agreement. "Yet, I find it impossible to harbor any dislike. It seems he is merely afraid of our meddling and wishes to shoulder the responsibility alone. Why not just speak honestly? Using such extreme measures is truly excessive." Xiao Bingbing clenched her fists, wishing to chase after the Maybach and deliver 3 punches to Qin Lang's chest for his outrageous behavior. Yet, upon reflection, a sense of trepidation washed over her. Turning to her sister Xiao Chuchu, she spoke softly, "Sister, I feel as though something is amiss." Xiao Chuchu furrowed her brow. "What seems to be the problem? I find that I am not particularly averse to this Qin Lang fellow. In fact, I sense that beneath his seemingly insincere exterior, he possesses a certain charm. He is handsome and comes from a respectable background." The more Xiao Bingbing spoke, the more she felt the gravity of her predicament. This man was undeniably flirtatious, surrounded by women, from Chu Mingyao to the formidable woman she had just encountered, and even casting glances at Zhao Mingyue. No, she must not allow herself to grow too close to him. Otherwise, if her senior sisters found out, how could she ever face them again? In her sect, each of her senior sisters was a paragon of grace and beauty. Sharing a man with other women was simply out of the question. Just the thought of her eldest sister's elegance made such a scenario utterly intolerable. Should she encounter Qin Lang, she would surely scoff. As for the second sister, she was a fierce one, known for her ruthless disposition. If she discovered Qin Lang's true nature, she would likely eliminate him on the spot. The third sister could be disregarded. Those in the entertainment industry often feigned smiles while harboring disdain. Even if she smiled at Qin Lang, her heart would surely scorn him. And then there was the fourth sister, Reincarnation. She had always been protective of her junior brother, harboring a deep disdain for fickle men. If she learned of Qin Lang's character, a mere touch would likely incite her to wield a dagger, seeking to eliminate him entirely. Reincarnation was nothing if not resolute. There is absolutely no possibility of her engaging with a man like Qin Lang, not even a fleeting touch, let alone anything more intimate. Xiao Bingbing found herself ensnared in a web of conflicting emotions. After so many years of being devoid of romantic feelings, she finally encountered a man of interest, yet could not approach him. The sensation was truly distressing. On one hand, she yearned to seize this rare opportunity. On the other, she feared the ridicule of her senior sisters. For a moment, Xiao Bingbing felt a twinge of resentment. Why, oh why, were her sisters so exceptional? Why were they so pure and untarnished? It made her feel rather shameless in comparison. Chapter 401. The Plight of Reincarnation Bingbing. You needn't dwell on such thoughts any longer. setting aside whether our eldest sister would intervene if the fourth sister reincarnation were to discover that you dared to approach Xinlang. It would be one thing if she remained unaware of his conduct, but should she learn of it, it would spell disaster. With Xinlang surrounded by admirers, should you develop a close association with him, reincarnation would undoubtedly take action. She harbors the strongest aversion to these capricious men surrounded by beauty. There is no telling what consequences may befall Xinlang. Xiao Chuchu sighed inwardly, seeking to dispel her sister's fanciful notions. In a realm of assassins, the fourth senior sister's prowess and identity are undoubtedly formidable, perhaps even surpassing that of the woman who recently stood beside Xinlang. Should she choose to conceal herself near him, any attempt on his life would be virtually undetectable. Assassination is a different domain from direct combat. The two should not be conflated. Frustrated, Xiao Bingbing tugged at her hair, exasperated by the fourth senior sister's demeanor. She was as frigid as a block of ice. Although she appeared to be close to the junior brother, in reality, they had never shared any intimate moments, not even holding hands. Moreover, the junior brother harbored feelings for the senior sister, yet the fourth senior sister remained indifferent. It was baffling to Xiao Bingbing what thoughts occupied the fourth senior sister's mind. Was there truly no man in the world who could capture her interest? Or was she destined to follow in their master's footsteps, reaching an advanced age without ever having had a romantic relationship? As she lamented, Xiao Chuchu swiftly covered her mouth. This girl had become increasingly audacious, daring even to speak ill of their master. What did she be thinking? Was Xinlang truly so exceptional that he warranted a tirade against their master? Was it merely a matter of being hypocritical? Was there anything praiseworthy about him? Xiao Chuchu could not help but scoff. Her encounters with Xinlang had not been particularly pleasant, leaving her somewhat irked and eager to belittle him. Yet, she had to concede that he was unique in certain respects, especially in contrast to the wealthy elite she had encountered, who often masqueraded as genteel but would reveal their true, grotesque natures when faced with adversity, making one feel nauseated. In comparison, although Xinlang might appear harsh on the surface, he possessed a warmth within that was truly comforting. Sighing, Xiao Chuchu shook her head vigorously, casting aside her tangled thoughts. She wondered where the fourth senior sister might be now, and, if she was with the junior brother, would she have changed? It was unlikely. The fourth senior sister was as unyielding as ancient ice. Even if they were together, their relationship would likely progress little. The junior brother's naive intentions were fully transparent to the fourth senior sister. Despite their apparent closeness, there was no chance he could gain any advantage over her. In truth, no one could ever hope to take advantage of the fourth senior sister. It might even cost them their lives. Xiao Bingbing was firmly convinced of this. Meanwhile, in a hotel within a city district of Jiangnan County, a voice echoed, "Fourth senior sister, you know my feelings for you. Since joining the sect, you have been the kindest to me. I appreciate your goodness and wish to accompany you from this day forth. Would you allow it? You no longer need to live a life shrouded in shadows. Let us find a tranquil place, purchase a home, and raise a few children, living joyfully together." Chun Fan gazed deeply at Luan Hui, extending his hand in an attempt to grasp hers. Luan Hui immediately recoiled, her expression icy as she addressed Chun Fan. "Could you please keep your distance? Time and again, your proximity has led me to wonder if you believe I would hesitate to harm you. Fourth senior sister, what has transpired with you? You are not the person you once were. I have always appreciated your kindness, yet since your encounter with Xinlang, it is as if you have transformed entirely." Chun Fan's eyes reddened, his voice rising in intensity. "Is it true? Have you developed feelings for that fellow, Xinlang? Is that why you deliberately distance yourself from me? What merits does that man possess? He is surrounded by women, a veritable throng of admirers. How could such a man ever be worthy of you? Did you not once detest fickle men?" "Chun Fan, silence yourself," Luan Hui retorted sharply. "How could I possibly harbor any affection for him? Even if every other man in the world ceased to exist, I would never find myself drawn to that individual. Who else in this realm could possibly be deserving of you, if not I?" Chun Fan advanced step by step, undeterred by the peril, intent on reaching Luan Hui's side. Yet at that moment, an uncanny scene unfolded. The door to the room was thrust open from the outside, and Xinlang appeared, his countenance cold and unyielding. Behind him, the corridor was devoid of definition, resembling an abyss of darkness and chaos. His expression was as somber as still water, viewing her as a stranger, exuding indifference and apathy. "Ah, so you still harbor feelings for your junior disciple. Even now, how delightful. While I am absent, you and Chun Fan can enjoy each other's company in a hotel. Since you seem so attached, I shall grant you both this wish. From this moment forth, our paths shall diverge. Qin Lang coldly proclaimed, turning on his heel and departing. Luan Hui stood frozen, a sense of dread washing over her as she realized she had gravely overstepped, irrevocably crossing Qin Lang's boundary. It felt as though this time, the line had truly been drawn between them. No, it is not as you perceive. Allow me to explain. Luan Hui hastened after him, but as she stepped outside, she stumbled and fell, turning to find Chun Fan clinging to her leg. For senior sister, do not leave. Stay with me. Qin Lang is a villain, unworthy of your affection. You do not truly like him. Now that he has discarded you, there is no reason to pursue him. Stay with me, forever and ever. Get away. Do not touch me. Luan Hui shouted, delivering a kick towards Chun Fan's head, her murderous intent evident. The heel of her shoe struck Chun Fan's head, and with a resounding thud, he disintegrated like mist, scattering into the air. Unrestrained, Luan Hui did not cast a glance back at Chun Fan as she dashed frantically down the corridor. Around her, darkness and chaos enveloped, rendering everything indistinct, save for the increasingly ethereal and dim silhouette of Qin Lang. Qin Lang, please allow me to explain. It is not as you perceive. I have no connection with Chun Fan. The one I cherish is not Chun Fan, but you. It is you whom I adore. Luan Hui cried out loudly. Yet the departing Qin Lang did not falter even for a moment, growing ever more distant and faint. Luan Hui, in her despair, remained prostrate on the ground, feeling as though an immense force was pulling her back, preventing her from pursuing him. Everything around her twisted and spun incessantly, as if the very fabric of the world was beginning to unravel. There is no greater sorrow than a heart laid to rest. In this moment, Luan Hui was engulfed in despair and sorrow that reached an unbearable peak. She longed to weep openly, to scream at the top of her lungs, but her throat felt constricted, as if something were blocking it, rendering her voiceless. Her entire body trembled violently, convulsing with anguish. Suddenly, Luan Hui, lying on the bed, felt taut and rigid, her eyelids fluttering erratically. The blanket that had covered her was kicked off by her frantic movements. Abruptly, she sat up, her eyes wide with terror. Cold sweat beaded on her forehead, forming small droplets that fell upon the sheets, a result of her vigorous actions. She gazed around the hotel room, her beautiful eyes filled with confusion and panic, her breathing rapid and shallow. It was a dream. All of it had merely been a dream. She reached out with her delicate fingers to touch her cheek, finding it damp. A nightmare had reduced her to tears. Chapter 402. The Uncontainable Fancy. Why did this happen? It was only a dream, yet it felt so vividly real, igniting such profound emotions of anxiety and fear within her. How could she harbor such feelings for Qin Lang? Why did she feel such reluctance? Yet, if these thoughts did not stem from her innermost self, why had she dreamt of such a scenario that left her heart unsettled? Gazing at her tear-streaked fingers, Luan Hui's emotions gradually began to settle, her exquisite visage marred by an indescribable bitterness. Even though she was reluctant to acknowledge it, even though she wished to vilify and refute her own heart, no amount of resistance could withstand the torment of this dream. Ultimately, it was not another who defeated her, but her own heart. The dream felt too real, so authentic that the words spoken within it were ones she would utter even unto death. Yet, it revealed her true sentiments, manifesting a dream of shame brought forth by her fear of Qin Lang abandoning her. The absurdity of it all was laughable. Tears once again cascaded from Luan Hui's eyes. But this time, she did not wipe them away. She let them fall freely. She understood Qin Lang's character and realized that she had already allowed this person to tarnish her innocence. She harbored a desire to eliminate Qin Lang, seeking to affirm her resolve through death. Yet, she failed. She longed to distance herself from that man, as far away as possible, aspiring to forget him entirely and sever all ties, hoping time would mend her wounds. But what was the reality? Initially, she intended to spend the rest of her days abroad, never to return to Dragon Country. Yet during this brief period, how many countries had she traversed? From the far reaches of Dragon Country to its neighboring lands, and eventually back to Dragon Country itself. She had journeyed from the outskirts of Jiangnan County to now being within its borders, a mere half-day's drive from Tianhai City. In just a few days, where would she find herself again? To kill Qin Lang. Did she even possess the opportunity? Even if it presented itself, with Qin Lang standing before her now, would she truly have the heart to take his life? Even when Qin Lang chose to depart, her dreams were filled with despair and trepidation, bringing her to tears. Wiping away her tears, she donned freshly laundered garments, checked out of the hotel, and turned away from the establishment. Heading toward a direction she had gazed upon countless times in the night. She stepped forward with unwavering resolve, her heart devoid of any hesitation or resentment. All that remained was an urgent yearning and the hope of encountering Qin Lang soon. As she made her way, she sensed a faint trace of being followed and swiftly turned into a dark alley. Just as she vanished from sight, a figure followed her into the depths of the alley. Suddenly, a sharp dagger sliced through the air. Chun Fan quickly retreated, fear evident in his voice. Fourth senior sister. It's me. Ru Hui halted, momentarily dazed, believing Chun Fan to be dead. But upon reflection, she realized that it had been a mere dream, and with a cold glare, she rebuked, "It is you I wish to kill. I warned you. If you continue to cling to me, I shall take your life." Fourth senior sister. Are you truly so heartless? Do you disregard the bond of our sect? Chun Fan bit his lip, filled with reluctance. Ru Hui remained silent, advancing with astonishing speed, unleashing a barrage of lethal attacks upon Chun Fan. Yet, inexplicably, Chun Fan seemed to have gained some fortuitous encounter, evading her relentless assault without sustaining a single injury. Instead, he seized the opportunity to plead, "Fourth senior sister, please don't be this way. We can discuss matters calmly. Even if you despise me now, we share a common enemy. We can collaborate. My current abilities are not inferior to yours. Together, we might just have a chance to eliminate Qin Lang. You could draw his attention while I remain in the shadows, catching him off guard." After exchanging dozens of blows, Ru Hui found herself unable to subdue Chun Fan. Standing atop a wall, her brow furrowed in concern. "Your strength has improved again." Chun Fan, perched on the opposite wall, nodded and replied, "By sheer luck. I have gained a bit of strength. It could be a turning point that might just enable them to kill Qin Lang." His hatred for Qin Lang had seeped into his very bones. Countless times in dreams, he had wished to end Qin Lang's life. She has also relinquished her so-called perseverance. Moreover, she feels that even if the fourth senior sister is no longer by her side, she is no longer of paramount importance. At least, the fourth senior sister harbors animosity towards Qin Lang, unlike those women like Luo Qingyu, who have been thoroughly ensnared by Qin Lang's charm. "Do you intend to kill Qin Lang?" The voice of reincarnation grew increasingly frigid. Chun Fan hastily explained, "Fourth senior sister, there are too many formidable allies surrounding Qin Lang. I understand your desire to personally eliminate him, but the likelihood of success is exceedingly slim, and it could plunge you into peril. If we join forces, we could significantly enhance our chances of his demise. Why not seize the opportunity? At worst, I shall leave the final blow to you." "Who said I wanted to kill him?" Reincarnation glared at Chun Fan. "My relationship with Qin Lang is entirely contrary to your assumptions. Should you dare to act against him, I shall pursue you to the ends of the earth, ensuring your dismemberment." Regardless of Chun Fan's astonished reaction, Reincarnation maintained her icy demeanor, yet her words no longer contradicted her true feelings. Perhaps the recent dream in the inn had inflicted profound trauma upon her, leaving her engulfed in fear and trepidation. She no longer sought to evade or refute the thoughts lurking within her. She had no intention of remaining here, nor did she harbor any sense of camaraderie towards Chun Fan. She had already slain him once in her dreams. Were it not for the consideration of Chun Fan's rising power, she might not have succeeded. Otherwise, she would undoubtedly eliminate a threat to Qin Lang here and now. "Fourth senior sister, are you deliberately trying to undermine me because you fear I might continue my obstinacy?" Chun Fan asked, bewildered. He was reluctant to ponder the implications of her words. Perceiving them as mere fabrications, akin to a nightmare he refused to believe. How could the fourth senior sister and Qin Lang possibly share such a connection? She had no opportunity to cultivate a bond with him, nor any chance to do so. It was impossible, absolutely impossible. Chun Fan had long suppressed his feelings for reincarnation, unwilling to let them surface. Yet now, her words began to waver his resolve. Reincarnation had already departed, disinterested in further discourse, leaving behind a final remark. "From now on, keep your distance from me. I fear Qin Lang may misunderstand." Chapter 403. The disparity between the prodigy of destiny and the great villain Reincarnation walked away, her figure gradually fading into a small silhouette. Only Chun Fan remained, standing at the entrance of the dim alley, gazing at the fourth senior sister's resolute back, his expression vacant. Gradually, his fists clenched, his gaze filled with murderous intent, his teeth grinding, producing a grating sound, his entire being trembled violently. Qin Lang. Once again, it was Qin Lang. That scoundrel had even laid hands on his fourth senior sister, ensnaring her completely. Was it during the assassination attempt in Cologne? Or was it when he was injured in Cologne and subsequently expelled from the fourth senior sister's chamber? Chun Fan trembled all over, unwilling to acknowledge the suspicions that gnawed at his heart, for in his mind, his fourth senior sister was exceedingly aloof. Throughout the years of camaraderie, even he had not managed to gain an inch of advantage over her. They were merely close acquaintances. How could there possibly be a connection with Qin Lang, a man he had barely met a handful of times? He refused to contemplate it, let alone believe it. Yet now, reality smacked him resoundingly in the face. Who was the reincarnation sister? How could she utter such words? If it were merely a simple acquaintance, even with feelings involved, it was utterly impossible to speak with such resolute finality. Unless, why Qin Lang? I want you dead. I've got to turn you to ashes. Luo Qingyu. Reincarnation. Ning Qianqian. You wretched women. Wretched women indeed. Chun Fan fell into a frenzied state, his eyes a fiery red, as he bellowed in despair within the dim alley, pummeling the walls with his fists, using sheer brute strength to shatter the reinforced concrete, leaving it riddled with scars. The sight was one of utter devastation. Avenge my parents' tragic fate? Elevate my power? In this moment, Chun Fan's mind was only consumed by one singular thought: to kill Qin Lang. His previous convictions disintegrated entirely in that instant. No longer did he hold any reservations. As long as he could slay Qin Lang, he was willing to do anything, pay any price. Especially as he envisioned the deeds Qin Lang had committed against the reincarnation sister, his fury escalated. With a single punch, he collapsed the reinforced concrete wall, the force splitting his palm, blood oozing forth, yet he remained oblivious. In the blink of an eye, 2 days slipped by unnoticed. In Tianhai City, at the Queen's Bar, within a spacious private room on the top floor, Chu Mingyao, clad in a flowing red dress, leaned against Qin Lang's left shoulder, delicately twirling a grape in her fingers, offering it to his lips, the skin already peeled, its sweetness undeniable. Qin Lang opened his mouth, eagerly awaiting her feeding, and as he savored the fruit, he playfully kissed her fingertips. You're so naughty, and others are watching. Chu Mingyao quickly withdrew her fingers, blushing, and lightly tapped his chest in reproach. Ha, we're among friends. What is there to be shy about? Qin Lang pulled the escaping Chu Mingyao into his embrace, casting a glance at the blood-red mandala seated beside him, and retorted, I send tea that, right? Sipping tea, he rinsed his mouth, remarking that overly sweet things were detrimental to one's teeth. The blood-red mandala presented a cup of tea to Qin Lang. Allowing him to rinse before catching the tea, he spat out in a plate, discarding it into a nearby trash bin. During his time in Cologne, he found it quite pleasant and comfortable. But now that he was back home, oh my, not only would he not exchange this life for the one in Cologne, even if a celestial being offered him a swap, he would refuse. Qin Lang was in high spirits, embracing both Shui Sei-man Duo Luo and Chu Mingyao, planting a kiss on each of their cheeks, leaving the two women utterly embarrassed. Qin Lang, make the most of these few days and enjoy your fortune. Once news spreads and the Zhao family in the capital reacts, your Qin family will undoubtedly be the first to apprehend you for self-preservation. Zhao Mingyue sat slumped on the ground, her hands bound behind her, silently observing the scene. She wished to endure and refrained from causing trouble at this moment, for it would only bring her distress. However, seeing Qin Lang live such a carefree life filled her with resentment. Her son lay murdered beneath the cold earth. Yet the man who had taken her son's life reveled in such ease. How could she bear it? Do you know why I have allowed you to live until now? Qin Lang released the two women, folding his hands and leaning forward, a malicious smile creeping upon his face as he fixed his gaze upon Zhao Mingyue. 20 years ago, the Zhao family's beauty was renowned in the capital. And even after all these years, you remain stunning. Time has left no trace upon your visage. Instead, it has stripped away your youth, enhancing your mature allure with a touch of sarcasm. What do you mean? Do not act recklessly. Otherwise, the Zhao family will ensure your demise. Zhao Mingyue's eyes widened as she regarded the scheming Qin Lang, her mind swirling with disbelief. Was this man truly deranged? The two girls beside her were no less beautiful than she was in her youth, and they were even more captivating now. How could he entertain such twisted thoughts? The Zhao family? Are they even aware that you are still alive? Qin Lang tilted his head, casting a sidelong glance at Zhao Mingyue. You know, the more you try to deter a man, the more he desires to pursue. After all, compared to a Na'vi young girl, The charm you possess, Madame Zhao, is unparalleled. You. Zhao Mingyue's chest heaved with anger, a tempest brewing within, yet her words remained unspoken. Chu Mingyao, by his side, grasped Qin Lang's arm. Her lips pressed together, her beautiful eyes reflecting an incomprehensible emotion. Do not worry, I have no interest in that. Qin Lang reassured her gently, patting her hand. Truth be told, while Zhao Mingyue was indeed alluring, he harbored no such intentions. It was merely a deliberate intimidation, a curious amusement. In reality, if one were to consider the identity of Mu Yuyan's mother, she was hardly inferior to Zhao Mingyue. And with the added allure of Mu Yuyan, one would assume she to be even more captivating. Not to mention Lin Youchu's mother, Su Yurong. How should one describe her? With just a fleeting glance from him, she would likely come knocking on his door by nightfall. Neither of these women swayed his affections, let alone Zhao Mingyue and Mo Bai's mother. Under normal circumstances, had there not been any extraordinary events, Qin Lang would resolutely avoid entanglements with another's wife. Of course, what if something unexpected occurs? How shall I put it? Qin Lang maintained his usual demeanor, neither proactive nor dismissive, and certainly not accountable. After all, a woman's will is not to be contravened. Qin Lang, are you toying with me? Zhao Mingyue exclaimed in exasperation upon witnessing Qin Lang whispering with Chu Mingyao. It was only now that Zhao Mingyue realized she had been deceived. Captured and brought to this place, she was, to put it bluntly, a lamb awaiting slaughter. At this juncture, Qin Lang continued to toy with her, step by step, as if he relished in her torment. Was this man a devil? Why does your tone seem so disheartened? Qin Lang teased, fixing his gaze upon Zhao Mingyue's eyes. Has it only been 2 days since Mo Kang's demise, and already you are eager to adorn him with a hat made from the Great Plains? Do not be hasty, although I have no intentions toward you. That doesn't preclude others from having such inclinations. In fact, a familiar face. He continued, do you recall the man who pulled you from the trunk a few days ago? His name is Junzi, my driver and personal bodyguard. Typically, he wouldn't spare a glance at an ordinary young woman. But for a woman of your maturity and charm, he is utterly captivated. How could he possibly be worthy? Zhao Mingyue spat onto the ground in disdain. At that moment, Junzi entered after knocking on the door, clad in a heavy military coat, followed closely by Qiu Jiuer and Shinziki. Young master, there's been a development regarding the Mo family matter. I returned this morning with updates. Junzi spoke with his head bowed, his body trembling in the dark green coat. Qiu Jiuer nervously added, the press conference to report the follow-up on this incident is imminent. Ha ha ha. Qin Lang, you're in deep trouble now. Can you not see your bodyguard, quaking in fear? This time, even the Qin family cannot shield you. Are you too afraid to watch the coverage? Indeed, the Qin family can only protect you for so long. Soon it will not just be your bodyguard being interrogated, but they will send someone to apprehend you directly. Impossible. Qin Lang's eyes widened as he pointed toward the projector. Turn it on. Let us see the press conference. Qiu Jiuer activated the projector, casting the video from the computer onto the screen. The footage displayed not the usual host from the capital television station, but a new face methodically recounting the events surrounding the annihilation of the Mo family. Zhao Mingyue was moved to tears at this sight. Finally, at long last, Qin Lang would pay the price. The very convening of a press conference indicated the gravity of this incident. It was evident that the Zhao family had wielded considerable influence behind the scenes. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for the matter to escalate to such proportions. As the preliminary narrative came to a close, the spokesperson was poised to unveil the truth of the incident and the subsequent measures to be taken. Zhao Mingyue, her hands bound behind her back, could not help but clench them in anticipation. Regarding the case of the Mo family in Jiangnan County, the investigation yielded the following results. Mo Kong of the Mo family maintained improper associations with an overseas organization, which harmed the reputation of the Mo family. He harbored Mo Bai, who had previously committed premeditated murder. The spokesperson elaborated on these findings for nearly 10 minutes, revealing that nearly every member of the Mo family was tainted by despicable pasts. At this juncture, the tone of the discourse had irrevocably shifted. No longer was there sympathy for the Mo family's annihilation or hope for the truth to be unearthed. Instead, there was a palpable sense of accusation. Hey, young master, I have been promoted. Junzi could no longer contain his excitement and shed his green coat, revealing the attire he had donned that day. In that moment, all semblance of seriousness had evaporated, and his smile stretched from ear to ear. Zhao Mingyue's eyes glazed over, her mind swirling with confusion as she murmured, why is this happening? How could this be? Why this outcome? What other secrets did the Qin family conceal that rendered the Zhao family utterly helpless? She had anticipated that the report would enumerate Qin Lang's transgressions. Truth be told, his offenses were sufficient to warrant execution countless times over. Yet, astonishingly, Qin Lang faced no repercussions, and his personal bodyguard had even received a remarkable promotion. How could someone so young, appearing barely in his 30s, achieve such a status? In the annals of Longwa's history, few had ascended to such heights at that age. By the way, you returned to the capital this morning. You should be privy to some information. No? Zhao Mingwen inquired, hoping for insight into the Zhao family's stance. After all, she was a member of the Zhao family. Did they not seek to intervene? Qin Lang cast a glance at Zhao Mingwe before turning to Junzi, feigning ignorance, though he was already well aware of certain matters. Otherwise, how could he comfortably sit here, savoring the grapes fed to him by Chu Mingyao and sipping tea infused with blood-red mandrake? Junzi snorted derisively, casting a scornful look at Zhao Mingwe. The Zhao family? They are far too preoccupied with their own troubles. Chapter 405. There is no greater sorrow than a heart that has died. The Mo family's entanglement with the overseas organization was exceedingly deep. During the report, certain matters could not be disclosed. Otherwise, the Mo family's actions would have warranted annihilation in ancient times. The Zhao family, being kin to the Mo family, was now under scrutiny and was in a state of frantic disarray. As for the woman you mentioned, Junzi sneered at Zhao Mingwe. The Zhao family would prefer her utterly eradicated. Should Zhao Mingwe remain alive, she might establish ties with the Zhao family. This incident ran too deep. If the Zhao family became implicated, it could spell disaster for them. In Longwa, any matter concerning stability escalates in severity across multiple tiers. It is simply beyond the capacity of any family to contend with. The Mo family cannot withstand it, nor can the Zhao family muster the strength. Zhao Mingwe was akin to a vital link between two families. If she were to perish, it would be a different matter altogether. Yet, if she survived and uttered even a few words detrimental to them, the Zhao family would find themselves in a predicament akin to stepping into a quagmire, impossible to cleanse. No less. How could this happen? Zhao Mingwe felt as though her spirit had been extinguished. Even now, she remained in the dark, unaware of the Mo family's transgressions or their entanglements with foreign organizations. Was this a scheme orchestrated by the Qin family? Unthinkable. Without tangible evidence, the Zhao family would never allow such filth to tarnish their reputation. They would muster every ounce of strength to confront the Qin family. Now that a verdict has been rendered, it could only mean one thing. Guilt has been established. They have lost. Utterly lost. She had believed that Qin Lang would face severe repercussions, perhaps even capture and execution, for obliterating the Mo family. Yet now, the situation had taken a most unexpected turn. Qin Lang's annihilation of the Mo family had not only left him unscathed, but had also yielded immense rewards. This report may not have named Qin Lang, but among the upper echelons of the capital, the news had undoubtedly circulated in whispers. His merits would surely be preserved. Otherwise, it would be inconceivable that a crime sufficient to bring about the Zhao family's downfall would merely result in a promotion from cadet to general. Chu Mingyao exhaled a long breath, patting her chest. You nearly gave me a heart attack. Thankfully, all is well. I thought something dreadful was about to occur with your serious demeanor. She shot a glare at Qin Lang, fully aware that he had been feigning seriousness, frightening her in the process. After all, she had heard of the Mo family's predicament and understood the gravity of the situation. She had been too afraid to voice her concerns, feeling utterly helpless, and could only offer silent prayers. She never anticipated such a joyous outcome. He was quite convincing in his act. Qiu Zhou'er was also displeased, her face cold, feeling as though she too had been left in the dark. Chun Ziki curiously inquired, but over the past few days, Yu Haven-T left the Queen's Bar, nor accepted any external inquiries. How could you possibly know so much? A prophet, perhaps? Zhu Mendia, Qiu Zhou'er, and Chun Ziki, along with the blood-colored mandala, fixed their inquisitive gazes upon Qin Lang. Even Zhao Mingyue, her face stained with tears, lifted her head, determined to seek clarity even in death. What did he mean by being a prophet? I merely acted out of rage when the Mo family captured my beloved. I didn't foresee the outcome. I had already resigned myself to confinement, and yet here we are. What are you all staring at me for? How could I have predicted any of this? Qin Lang rolled his eyes, disinterested in offering explanations. Some matters were best left unspoken. Revealing them would only stir discomfort in the hearts of others. Should he disclose that he had foreseen the consequences before taking action? Should he admit that he was aware of Xiao Chu-Chu and Xiao Bing-Bing's lingering attachment to the Mo family, recognizing their hidden transgressions? Some things simply defied explanation. The matter concerning the fated daughters, particularly the involvement of two such individuals, undoubtedly constitutes a colossal case. Otherwise, the Xiao sisters would not remain so haunted by it, nor would they be unable to uncover any leads. It transcends mere chance. It feels almost destined. He is convinced that the Mo family, who have captured the sisters' attention, harbors deep secrets intricately concealed. However, no matter how well the Mo family may hide, can they truly obscure the fated daughter from the Qin family? What a farcical notion. Ignorance may be bliss, yet in a nation as vast as Longhua, it is impossible to scrutinize every inch of land with precision. Yet now this has drawn him in, entwining his very existence within its web. As the sole heir of the Qin lineage, should he meet an untimely demise, the old patriarch would likely suffer a decade's worth of grief. His death could very well trigger a seismic upheaval within the Qin family. Such monumental events do not require his vocal endorsement. It is likely that the Qin family has been tirelessly unearthing the Mo family's transgressions across the entirety of Longhua and even the world at large in recent days. Indeed, the magnitude of the crimes revealed not only exonerated him, but also garnered him considerable merit, striking a blow to some adversaries, rendering the Zhao family so dismayed that even their married daughters would hesitate to associate with them, prompting them to commend the Qin family for their prowess. What defines a villain? Montak Bai, acting recklessly while the Mo family scrambles to mitigate the fallout? Compared to Qin Lang, Mo Bai is trivial. He obliterated the Mo family without consequence, simultaneously elevating his personal bodyguard and weakening the Zhao family's standing. Is this the extent of his cunning? Qin Lang gazed at his palm resting upon Chu Mingyao's heart, suddenly questioning whether his hand truly belonged there. How peculiar. Might his methods be excessively forceful? He gradually withdrew his hand after a moment of contemplation. Turning toward Junzi, he called out, "You've just been promoted. Would you care for a wife?" He gestured toward Zhao Mingwei. Wasn't he, Junzi, fond of such affairs? Upon hearing the remark, Junzi turned around, understanding the need to avoid suspicion. He cast a sidelong glance at Zhao Mingwei, meticulously folded his clothes, and donned a fitted outfit before striding toward her. Zhao Mingwei trembled, exclaiming, "Kill me if you have the courage. Even in death, I will not accept such shameless humiliation." With a resounding slap, Junzi struck Zhao Mingwei's face, rebuking her fiercely. "Who the hell wants you? You? A mere discarded shoe from the Mo family? I wouldn't even glance your way. What nonsense. With the Mo family gone, the Zhao family no longer desires you. Do you think I would take you in? Dream on." After delivering the harsh blow to Zhao Mingwei, Junzi turned to Qin Lang. Shaking his head resolutely, "Young master, this woman poses a threat to Miss Chu. Even if I have my preferences, I would never entangle myself with such a disgrace." Would he desire her? Of course he would. Zhao Mingwei possesses an exquisite beauty and an alluring charm. Yet, Junzi understands the distinction between what should be desired and what should be shunned. Setting aside any potential connection between Zhao Mingwei and the young master, even if none exists, he could never entertain any thoughts toward her. This woman has already crossed the young master's line. She harbors the audacity to attempt to harm Chu Mingyao, and he resolutely stands by the young master's side. Do not speak of merely one woman, even his own life. Should his death ensure the young master's survival, he would willingly offer it without a second thought. Chapter 406. A conspiracy against Zhao Mingwei. You demons. Even after annihilating the Mo family, you remain unsatisfied, resorting to every conceivable means to humiliate me. Zhao Mingwei exclaimed, her trembling finger pointed accusingly at Qin Lang, tears streaming uncontrollably down her cheeks. At this juncture, she could no longer deny that her continued existence was solely due to Qin Lang's twisted whims. In Qin Lang's mind, he had likely anticipated the outcome all along. Retaining her was merely a ploy to extinguish her spirit and subject her to further humiliation. Once a prominent figure in the Zhao family of the capital, and later the matriarch of the Mo family, she had never faced disdain from even the most esteemed members of the Mo lineage, including the head of the family, Mo Kong, or the elders. Yet now, the Mo family has been obliterated. She nearly became a mere plaything for Qin Lang, only to discover it was all an elaborate mockery, with even the bodyguards around Qin Lang treating her with contempt and scorn. Kill me. If you have the ability, then do it. Shao Mingyu shuted angrily at Qin Long. Qin Lang glanced at a fruit knife and exchanged a knowing look with Junzi, who understood the cue. Junzi picked up the knife from the coffee table and severed the ropes binding Zhao Mingwei, tossing the blade in front of her. You are not worthy of a young master's direct involvement. I wouldn't even deign to kill you myself. If you wish to die, then do it yourself. Zhao Mingwei hesitated, gripping the fruit knife, her hands trembling. A mere stroke of the knife across her neck would bring an end to all her suffering. Yet, at that moment, despite holding the knife, she lacked the courage. Qin Lang, you shall perish. Zhao Mingwei sprang to her feet, gripping the fruit knife tightly as she charged at Qin Lang, aiming the blade at his heart. Before she could reach him, Junzi seized her by the collar and flung her several meters away, leaving her disoriented and dazed. Qin Lang, embracing the visibly conflicted Chu Mingyao, regarded Zhao Mingwei with disdain. I offered you an opportunity, yet you proved inept at seizing it. Since you lack the courage to die, be gone from here. I shall not trouble you further. In fact, I may even protect you in shadows. What treachery are you plotting now? Zhao Mingwei set the fruit knife down, attempting to rub her sore backside, but fearing an undignified posture, she could only endure the discomfort silently, gritting her teeth. It matters not. I simply wish to observe how the Zhao family will react when you seek them out. Will they assist you, their former daughter, in avenging you? Or will they cast you aside? As the saying goes, a favor of a grain of rice is repaid with a. Should there come a day when you find the Zhao family displeasing and wish to bring about their demise, all it would take is a few utterances from you. And I could conveniently place the blame squarely upon their heads, could I not? The Zhao family, entrenched in the capital, has always been at odds with the Qin family. This future heir of the Qin clan, despite lacking a sense of responsibility, would surely seize any opportunity to dismantle the Zhao family. The downfall of the Zhao family would allow the Qin family to tread upon their remains and reap substantial benefits. For him, it is a win-win situation, devoid of any detriment. Moreover, he harbors suspicions that this Zhao family might be linked to the fated child of the next narrative, an inexplicable emergence of the Mo family, entwined with the fated daughter of Chun Fan, raises questions about the depths of this intrigue. All remains to be verified. It is prudent to prepare for contingencies and retain a fallback option. Of course, one could also opt to preserve the Zhao family, sacrificing oneself in the process. With the Zhao family's methods, a slight investment should suffice to completely disentangle from this affair. Qin Lang gazed with keen interest at Zhao Mingwei. A conspiracy? No. This is an entirely overt scheme. The entire plan does not necessitate concealing anything from Zhao Mingwei. Rather, it plants a seed within her mind, merely awaiting its germination. You are delusional. If you let me go today, you will inevitably pay the price in the future. One day, you shall regret it. Zhao Mingwei seethed with indignation, rising to her feet and striding towards the door. As she passed by Junzi, he did not cast her a glance, nor did he show any intention of stopping her, allowing her to depart unimpeded. Have you genuinely allowed her to leave? Is that not akin to releasing a tiger back into the mountains? Xiaojiu wore a perplexed expression. Individuals like Zhao Mingwei ought to be eliminated directly. The human heart. Qin Lang sighed and shook his head. The most inscrutable thing in this world is indeed the human heart. The greater the hope for retribution, the deeper the ensuing despair will plunge one into an abyss of boundless darkness, blinding them with hatred. Should she return to the Zhao family now, the treatment she would receive would starkly contrast with her previous experiences. It is far more likely that the Zhao family would seek to eliminate her. Zhao Mingwei must be aware of this rationale. Perhaps she has alternative means for vengeance? Xiaojiu contemplated, realizing that many matters had already been elucidated by Qin Lang. Could it be that Zhao Mingwei would follow Qin Lang's counsel? Aside from the Zhao family, she possesses no other means to contend with me. Qin Lang tightened his embrace around Chu Mingyao. As long as there remains a glimmer of hope, she shall not yield. And that faint hope will swell within her until it transforms into a dark conflagration, incinerating her entirely, forcing her to endure unimaginable humiliation and torment. What is more, this humiliation emanates from the family she trusts the most. Xiaojiu paused, ultimately refraining from uttering further words. Casting a glance at the conflicted expression of Chu Mingyao in his arms, Qin Lang chuckled and remarked, "Do you feel that my methods are somewhat cruel? If you fear me, you may return home and rest early. In the future, there shall be no more adverse intentions from the Mo family towards you." Chu Mingyao shook her head, expressing, "I harbor no such thoughts. I merely find it somewhat difficult to adjust." She understood that your anger stemmed from concern for her. that your heart ached for her, which fueled your ruthless desire for vengeance against the Mo family. In truth, I am overwhelmed with joy and have no reason to fear you. She nestled into Qin Lang's embrace, wrapping her arms around his neck, and placed a gentle kiss upon his cheek. Initially, the atmosphere in the private room was quite solemn, with Qin Lang discussing serious topics throughout. And even though his hand was somewhat clumsy, it was bearable. However, suddenly, Chu Mingyao's bold affection disrupted the ambience, rendering it tense and still. It was not you who was taken by Zhao Mingyue. What does it mean to seek refuge in Qin Lang's arms out of fear? The blood-colored mandala wore a stern expression. This is the Queen's Bar, not your Chu family estate. Please be mindful of your behavior. Qiujiu glared at Chu Mingyao, aligning herself with a blood-colored mandala. Chu Mingyao, seeking mercy, turned her pleading gaze towards Chen Ziki. Sister Ziki had always been the most supportive of her. Ahem. Chen Ziki cleared her throat lightly, and under Chu Mingyao's expectant gaze, she solemnly remarked, Yao Yao, I believe your relationship with Qin Lang is developing rather swiftly. It is indeed a bit inappropriate to be so close in front of so many people. Chapter 407. The Law of Teamwork by Lin Yuchu. Chu Mingyao was taken aback. What was happening? Sister Ziki, why had she taken a stance against her? Moreover, blood-colored mandala and Qiujiu were concerned about that impulsive kiss. While Ziki was fixated on her current embrace of Qin Lang, with adversaries at play, she had anticipated allies, only to be met with a harsh blow. Goodness, if there were no hidden motives here, she would not believe it even upon threat of death. Chu Mingyao instinctively lifted her gaze, hoping to glean some insight from Qin Lang's expression, but instead collided with the equally inquisitive eyes of the blood-colored mandala. Compared to her skepticism, the mandala's expression conveyed even greater astonishment. She understood her long-lost cousin exceedingly well. Had the matter been unrelated, there would have been no need for words. The only concern she had was for her own work, or rather, to act as a harbinger of justice. When her cousin witnessed Qin Lang's actions towards Zhao Mingyue without uttering a word of protest, something felt amiss in her heart. Now, her cousin's vague hints of jealousy further confirmed her suspicions. Just then, Qin Lang's phone chimed with a message, and upon glancing at it, he donned an expression of urgency. I have something to attend to. I must take my leave. With that, he rose and exited the private room, with Junzi following closely behind, shutting the door. Sister Ziki? Chu Mingyao gazed at Chen Ziki, filled with confusion. Sister? Blood-colored mandala also tilted her head in curiosity. Chen Ziki bit her lip. Do not misinterpret. My relationship with Qin Lang is truly not what you think. We have not reached that stage yet. Qiujiu let out a cold laugh, questioning just how far matters had escalated. She chose not to dwell on Qin Lang's faults. If she were to fuss over every little grievance, she would have long succumbed to her own anger. Due to their differing statuses, she and Chen Ziki had always been at odds. Now that she had found a vulnerability, she couldn't help but mock Chen Ziki, the ever-upright Officer Chun. Who would have thought that one day she would be entangled with a rogue, just like those women she looked down upon? Had her identity not been revealed today, it wouldn't be long before the deeds shared between her and Qin Lang would surpass even the kiss from Chu Mingyao just now. Wouldn't it? Chen Ziki shot a glare at Qiujiu, her mind racing to retort. Yet, she felt a lack of confidence. What was there to wait for? After all, if Chu Mingyao's kiss was already a step too far, what more could she expect? She was all too familiar with the depths of transgression. Every time Qin Lang's hand lingered on his belt, her body instinctively reacted, making her crouch down, a fact that even she found hard to believe. Come with me, blood-red mandala said, ensuring that her cousin would not be left to face the storm of public opinion alone. She pulled Chen Ziki away to her temporary residence. As soon as the door was closed, before any questions could be posed, Chen Ziki preemptively apologized. Sister, I'm truly sorry. I never intended to compete with you for Qin Lang. Honestly, I had never considered having any relationship with him before. But some things are far more complicated than I ever imagined. By the time I recognized the issue, it was already too late. The grave mistake had been made. If you are angry, feel free to hit or scold me. I won't resist. I can endure your accusations if I just toughen up a little. Regarding Chu Mingyao, she felt little guilt. After all, she had known Qin Lang longer. It was only in front of blood-red mandala, her cousin whom she had not seen for so long, that she had no excuses. In her sister's heart, Chen Ziki was viewed as the only family she had in this world. Yet, the elder sister had not only failed to empathize, but had taken advantage of her sister's unawareness to entangle herself with her sister's man. Most troubling was her apparent lack of remorse. In fact, She contemplated maintaining this relationship, hoping to advance it further if possible. This profound sense of guilt caused tears to spill uncontrollably from Chunziki's eyes. If you're truly upset, then go ahead and kill me. I know your capabilities and your feelings for Qinlang. Rest assured, with just a little time, I promise not to cause you any trouble. I fear that if I continue living this way, I might repeat my mistakes. Blood-red Mandala's exquisite visage trembled slightly, conveying her reproach. Do you not recognize your errors? Will you persist in your misdeeds? Chunziki fell silent, her tears flowing like a broken dam, seemingly acquiescing to the accusation. Enough, do not cry. I will not hold your matters against you any longer. Crimson Mandala retrieved a wet wipe from the nightstand and gently dabbed Chunziki's tears. However, there was a crucial point she needed to emphasize. The relationship between you and Qinlang has not yet reached that level. It requires urgency. The bond between you and Qinlang is already tenuous, lacking depth, and you cannot afford to lag behind. If this continues, there will come a day when you inevitably fall behind. It is imperative to secure your position before that happens. Chunziki accepted the wet wipe from Crimson Mandala, wiping her tears, her gaze lingering just below her eyelids, filled with anxiety. Are you not confused by your anger? She reached out and touched Crimson Mandala's forehead. Then her own, discovering the temperatures were not significantly different. What is happening? She had laid bare all her thoughts, contemplated all possible outcomes, even the prospect of waiting for death. Yet, her sister not only refrained from scolding her, but also urged her to maintain her relationship with Qinlang, even pushing her to take it further. This left her utterly bewildered. Don't overthink it. I merely recalled something a girl once said, which resonated with me. Crimson Mandala replied, her voice tinged with solitude. The number of women around Qinlang is increasing, and I find it impossible to intervene. In fact, the addition of certain individuals may lead to growing estrangement. The inclusion of figures like Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian instilled in her a sense of crisis. Her status as the foremost expert was at stake. Furthermore, there was that elusive master of hidden kill, lurking somewhere, usurping her position. If she did not adapt soon, she would inevitably be replaced without her realizing it. A wise girl once said, the more allies you have, the fewer enemies you face. Crimson Mandala recalled Lin Youchu's words, fully grasping their profound meaning. What do you mean? Chunziki bit her lip, resolute. No. How can I do that? I am your cousin. Although our blood ties are not particularly strong, we are still family. You want me to oppose other women on your behalf? That is simply, fine. I will agree to your request. Chapter 408. Qinlang as protection unbeknownst to Qinlang, who had just left the Queen's Bar. A clandestine conspiracy between Crimson Mandala and Chunziki was gradually closing in on him. Of course, even if he were aware, it would not concern him. What could two women possibly stir up? He thought dismissively. It would be easy to handle. Young master, Miss Su should have returned to the villa by now. Should we head back directly? Junzi inquired calmly, glancing at his master's reflection in the rearview mirror. With his hand resting on the steering wheel, Qinlang's mind raced with numerous destinations, making it a habit to confirm before pressing the accelerator. Let us go straight back to the villa. It has been quite a while since I last saw Xiao Xiao. I miss her, Qinlang replied with a subtle nod. One cannot help but wonder what this young lady has been preoccupied with of late, having spent such an extended period away from home. Were it not for his fortuitous call to Su Xiao Xiao yesterday, he might still be in the dark regarding her return, just a few kilometers into their journey. Junzi glanced at his phone notifications and silently activated the rear LCD display, his expression contorted with concern. Young master, the family is calling, and it's a video call. He reported. Focus on driving, Qinlang replied, dismissively waving his hand as he raised the partition. He glanced at the LCD screen and accepted the call. The screen revealed two enormous nostrils. Let me see. Where is he? Where is Xiaolang? Why hasn't he answered the call? Surely, he must be occupied. Should we hang up and try again later? The nostrils babbled on until a gentle hand nudged the figure back slightly, revealing an elderly face, hair peppered with gray, and deep forehead wrinkles that seemed capable of squashing a fly. Father, you're too close. Xiaolang can't see you from there. Look, it's connected now. A warm-hearted middle-aged woman pointed at Qinlang's face on the screen, explaining while eagerly waving to her son behind the elderly figure. You rascal. Out for so long without even a phone call to your old man. One might think you've been abducted. The elderly man's initial joy at seeing Qinlang's face quickly morphed into a stern reprimand. Your parents are so busy, yet they manage to return every few days to share a meal with this old body. And you, the youngest, have the most airs. Not only do you not come home, but you can't even spare a call. Seeing the old man's face for the first time filled Qin Lang with an inexplicable warmth, yet he hesitated internally. I'm currently tied up with matters here in Tianhai City. Returning home would likely be delayed for some time. Fine, stay out there for the rest of your life. Just don't come back. I'd rather not see you and be troubled. The old man's eyes glared furiously, prompting the gentle woman beside him to feel a pang of urgency. She quickly placed a comforting hand on her heart and reassured him, "Father, please don't be angry. It's not worth it to upset yourself." At the same time, she shot an irritated glance at her son on the screen, admonishing him, "You rascal. How dare you speak to your grandfather like that? Is there even a reason for him to scold you? After causing such a significant incident, do you think your father and I could have resolved it so easily without your grandfather's intervention? This situation is far from trivial. It has escalated to a serious level. Even the Qin family lacks the influence to uncover so much information in such a short time. If it weren't for your grandfather's involvement, the offspring of prominent figures wouldn't be scurrying around to investigate. How could things possibly be resolved so effortlessly? Why say so much?" The old man cast a displeased glance at his daughter-in-law, whom he regarded as his own. The events leading up to this moment were crystal clear. Had it not been for that wretched Mo family's abduction of the young lady surnamed Chu, how could Xiao Lang have erupted in such fury? Not just Xiao Lang, but even in his youth, should he have encountered a similar situation, he might have acted with even greater severity. Some individuals are inherently treacherous. If you do not deal with them decisively, they will eventually turn against you. Do you understand? The old man's years of military service had forged his tempestuous temperament, and though age had dimmed his vigor, the pride that lay within him had never waned. He remained as fiery as ever. "Father, just indulge him," Nangong Wan remarked with a hint of exasperation. "Xiao Lang's temperament is a result of your overindulgence from a young age. What's right is right. He should not bear the blame for matters beyond his control." The old man spoke with conviction, preparing to find an excuse to reprimand his beloved grandson. However, at that moment, discomfort surged in his chest, leading to a fit of violent coughing. Nangong Wan, alarmed, hurriedly patted and soothed his back until he regained his composure. "Grandfather, are you feeling all right? I happen to have some herbs that are effective for longevity. I shall have Junzi find someone to bring them to you shortly." Qin Lang expressed his heartfelt concern. After all, who among men is devoid of emotions? In his previous life, he had been an orphan, achieving great wealth through sheer determination. Yet he had never experienced the warmth and affection of elders. In just a few minutes of conversation, he felt an unprecedented sense of care emanating from the old man, a warmth that brought him genuine joy and comfort. "At least you possess some manners," the old man replied, feigning sternness. But the affectionate call of grandfather had caused him to forget his previously simmering anger. "Do not worry about my health. Everything is fine at home, and the doctor is here frequently. I won't be departing this world anytime soon. You, however, must pay attention to your own safety. You troublesome boy, your knack for attracting trouble is growing. You dare provoke anyone and everyone. Be cautious for a while. Once your uncle selects some formidable bodyguards, they shall be sent to ensure your protection at all times." A warm current flowed through Qin Lang's heart, filling him with reflection. The old man was indeed a man of contradictions. Though he appeared stern, he cared deeply for his grandson, even going so far as to have bodyguards meticulously chosen. Remember this: when conducting business outside, never bully the weak. But if someone dares to wrong you, do not be afraid. Even if the heavens should fall, this old man will bear the burden for you. Chapter 409. An unprecedented warmth. The old man had once endured hardship himself and could not bear to see others suffer, especially not his own family taking advantage of the impoverished. If one would be aware, there would undoubtedly be severe repercussions. This is the guiding principle of the Qin family, one that must not be contravened. However, should anyone dare to bully the Qin family, or even to intimidate their cherished grandson, it would not matter if the Qin family currently lacks power or status. Even if he were still that young boy, toiling in the fields with a hoe, he would fiercely defend his grandson against those who dare to oppress him. "Grandfather, I understand," Qin Lang nodded, feeling a warmth enveloping his heart. As he gazed at the elderly man on the screen, whose hair had turned gray with age, he felt a sudden sting in his eyes. "Just as long as you understand. You are busy out there, and I cannot always impose on you. If there is anything, feel free to hang up." The old man waved his hand dismissively. Behind him, Nangong Wan kept winking at her son, but she dared not interrupt the call. The old man was a man of contradictions. He had often repeated his concerns for Xiao Lang at home, yet during video calls, He would struggle to find words to express himself if the call were to end abruptly. He could only imagine the old man sulking in silence later that evening. It was clear they had not yet finished their conversation. Grandfather, I am a bit curious. When you were my age, what were you doing? He understood the subtle hints from his mother. As people age, they naturally desire companionship, especially concerning their descendants. It is easy to care for the young, yet rare to be cherished in return. Upon hearing his grandson's question, the old man's demeanor transformed. As if a floodgate had opened, he spoke at length about his life after leaving home at a tender age, his words flowing like a river, filled with tales of his extensive military career, a lifetime of experiences that could not be encapsulated in mere sentences. Even a single anecdote could occupy the old man for half a day. For others, even his own son, he might have shown little interest in recounting past events. However, with Qin Lang, it was different. The bond between grandparents and grandchildren is often profound. He shared everything he could, leaving Nangong busy refilling the old man's teacup several times. Father, it has been over 2 hours, Nangong remarked, glancing at her watch. It was time for the doctor to examine him. Xiaolang can chat more next time. There is no rush. Your health is paramount. You're always hurrying me. I have not finished my story yet. The old man protested, though he recognized his daughter-in-law's good intentions. He looked back at Qin Lang on the screen and said, Xiaolang, we shall continue our conversation next time. Take care of yourself out there. The weather is becoming colder. Make sure to wear extra layers to avoid catching a chill. Ah, grandfather, please take care of yourself as well. Cooperate with the doctor during your checkups. Qin Lang replied earnestly, nodding emphatically. Nangong gazed reluctantly at her son's face on the video, softly admonishing him to return home early if he was feeling uncomfortable. I'll hang up now, she said before ending the call. Father, although Xiaolang speaks flattering words to you, he genuinely cares about your well-being, she continued. You saw it too. During the first half hour of the video, the car was in motion, and even after it stopped, he did not suggest ending the call, fearing you would miss him. As a mother, one cannot help but feel a pang of concern for her child, anxious that Xiaolang might leave a poor impression on the old man, however unlikely that may be. After hanging up, she felt compelled to explain further. None of our Qin family members stoop to insincere flattery. The old man knows this better than you do. Xiaolang's character is commendable and aligns with the old man's expectations. The elderly gentleman sat in his rocking chair, staring at the darkened phone screen, feeling an emptiness within him. For the first time in his many years, he felt a twinge of regret for not having learned to navigate a smartphone. My dear girl, I put you through so much. After all that time, you scarcely had a chance to converse with Xiaolang. Nangong chuckled. Father, what are you saying? It's not that I can't use a smartphone. I often chat with Xiaolang when I'm out. Oomph. The old man scoffed, and the remnants of his guilt evaporated at that moment. To think they would underestimate this old body's ability to master technology. Very well. From today onward, I shall have my caregiver teach me how to use a smartphone. I will call my precious grandson every day and send him messages. I will diligently practice, and when I reveal the number of messages I've sent, I shall astonish everyone. Meanwhile, after ending the call, Qin Lang stretched lazily in his seat, yawning as he shielded his eyes with his hand, a gentle smile gracing his lips. It was indeed the first time he had so directly felt the warmth of familial affection since arriving in this time. Such a feeling was truly delightful. Lowering the electronic sunshade, he glanced at Junzi, who had been patiently waiting in the driver's seat for nearly 2 hours since they arrived at the villa. Amused, he remarked, You've been here waiting all this time? It was just a phone call. You didn't have to remain here. Young master, what are you saying? Yunzi replied, scratching the back of his head. Isn't this what I ought to do? Besides, if I left and the car stalled, it would disrupt your conversation with the old man. Wouldn't it be a mess? You've learned to flatter quite well instead of focusing on your reading. Qin Lang teased. Later tonight, depending on the circumstances, come join us for dinner. However, before that, you have other tasks to attend to. Go to Mu Ren International and have Mu Yuyin prepare some beauty pills for you. Then, I'll give you some items to deliver home early. The old man's health is not very good, and he needs some nourishing supplements. The beauty-enhancing pills, the marrow-cleansing elixirs, the Tian Shan Snow Lotus, anything that ought to be given. Qin Lang would not be stingy in the slightest. It is not merely for the venerable elder's impressive vitality, but for the profound care reflected in the elder's words directed towards him. Junzi's smile grew increasingly radiant. The young master's intentions were well understood. However, at this moment, Miss Su was still within the villa. After a long separation, he would refrain from interrupting the young master and Miss Su's reunion. Instead, He would head directly to Murin International to seek out President Mu. Regarding the beauty-enhancing pills, how many should be packaged? He was well aware that the beauty-enhancing pills mentioned by the young master were not the diluted versions soon to hit the market, but rather exquisite creations crafted entirely from rare and precious medicinal materials. Such items are exceedingly valuable. It seemed prudent to package around 1,000 or 1,800 pills. Chapter 410. The heart-wrenching Su Xiaoxiao Qin Lang casually mentioned a figure. Junzi silently lamented that President Mu would surely feel the sting of this expenditure. The rarity of the beauty-enhancing pills is unparalleled, and the difficulty in procuring their raw materials is evident. To suddenly package 1,000 or 1,800 could leave President Mu feeling quite pained for a while. However, it is for the best. The young master has begun to feel an increasing sense of belonging to the family, a far cry from his previous detachment. Junzi had long suspected that the young master possessed some treasures, yet he had never realized they were the young master's own. Initially, he believed they were gifts from the Qin family, even after discovering the truth. He thought to encourage the young master to show filial piety to the elder, but never mentioned it. Whatever plans the young master had, he merely needed to discern and follow without ever intervening in the young master's decisions. Then, young master, I shall proceed to Murin International and return tomorrow morning. We can package everything together to send back, Junzi said, opening the rear door and standing by with a cheerful grin. Qin Lang rolled his eyes, wondering what nonsensical thoughts filled Junzi's mind all day long. Did he really believe he was like him? So desperately eager? Qin Lang saw through Junzi's little schemes long ago. Frankly speaking, whenever Junzi squatted down, Qin Lang would know exactly what he was up to. The young master is wise, heroic, and unmatched. Off we go. Junzi showered him with flattery before eagerly getting into the car and driving away slowly, only to accelerate sharply once they were a good distance from the young master. TSK. Qin Lang watched the fading silhouette of the Maybach, marveling at the truth. People truly must be nurtured to be pleasing to the eye. Take Junzi, for instance. In the original narrative, he was nothing but cannon fodder, a loyal follower ready to sacrifice himself. Had the established plot unfolded, he would have met his demise 6 months ago, and the grass on his grave would likely be half a meter high by now. Yet, through his careful cultivation, Junzi had transformed into his current state. Qin Lang felt an inexplicable sense of satisfaction. Even if he were to send Junzi to confront some lower-tier lucky ones, he could likely leave them utterly defeated. The foolishly loyal individual, under his guidance, had transformed into a cunning rogue. Exhaling a deep breath, Qin Lang turned and strode towards the villa. Upon entering the living room, he deliberately slowed his pace, inching closer to the kitchen step by step. Peeking around the corner, he caught sight of a lovely silhouette, busy in her tasks while adorned in a floral apron. One moment, she was chopping vegetables, the next washing dishes, and then lifting the lid of a clay pot to taste the rich soup with a spoon, finding it somewhat too bland. The young master preferred stronger flavors, and surely he would find it unaccustomed. Su Xiaoxiao's heart brimmed with uncontainable joy. Upon receiving news of Qin Lang, she had rushed back immediately. Engrossed in her work, she hummed cheerfully, conversing with herself like a young bride who had long awaited her husband's return. Just as she was adding seasonings to the soup, a warm figure suddenly pressed against her, wrapping her tightly in an embrace. Startled, she accidentally added a tad more salt to the pot. Young master. The tension in Su Xiaoxiao's heart dissipated in an instant. Realizing there was no one else in the villa who would dare approach her this way, she recognized that it could only be him. Moreover, this warm presence was the very one she had yearned for, day and night. Well, Su Xiaoxiao, is this how you conspire when alone at home? Claiming my palate is too robust? What transgressions have I committed? No, young master. Su Xiaoxiao explained. You must have misheard me. I meant the soup is too bland. Her voice gradually took on a tone of feigned grievance. Unable to remain merely embraced from behind, she turned to face Qin Lang, wrapping her arms tightly around his waist. Rising on her toes, she nestled her head against his shoulder, whispering, Young master, where have you been all this time? Have you forgotten me in your absence? Next time you go somewhere, could you take me along? I may not be skilled, but I can cook and make the bed. Please don't leave me alone at home. The longing that had accumulated over their time apart surged within her. It was not that she was unable to express her feelings. Rather, Su Xiaoxiao was simply not adept at revealing herself in front of others. Yet, upon seeing the young master again, she could no longer suppress her grievances, pouring out the bittersweet emotions she had harbored. Though her strength was slight, she clung to Qin Lang with extraordinary fervor, as if to bind them together tightly, never to part again. Don't cry. I admit my faults, Qin Lang said, turning his head to gaze tenderly at Su Xiaoxiao, whose chin rested on his shoulder. With gentle hands, he wiped away her tears. He understood how profoundly kind and sincere the young girl was within her heart, perhaps having long regarded him as the singular person of her lifetime. Moreover, Su Xiaoxiao had been an orphan since childhood, raised in the Sunshine Orphanage. No matter how affectionate the headmistress was, there remained an invisible barrier between them. Besides, the headmistress had taken in so many children that it was impossible for her to shower all her love solely upon Su Xiaoxiao. Unlike Lin Sierra, who at least had a blissful family, Su Xiaoxiao truly felt utterly alone. Without him, it was as though she had lost her entire world. "No, young master, I am not blaming you," Su Xiaoxiao pouted, wiping her tears with the fleshy part of her palm. She couldn't bear to scold him. Rather, she loathed her own helplessness. She felt that aside from trivial matters and household chores, she could offer little assistance to the young master. "I won't cry anymore, young master. Please don't wear such a sorrowful expression," she insisted, fervently dabbing at her tears. Yet, gazing at the young master's pained visage only intensified her sense of grievance, surging within her like a tide after encountering someone who cherished her. No matter how she tried to wipe away her tears, they continued to cascade down like pearls. Ultimately, she was merely an ordinary and somewhat timid young girl. The more she encountered the love of someone like him, the more she found it impossible to contain her emotions. Knowing that the young master cared for her so deeply filled her with both sorrow and joy. "Young master, please go sit in the living room for a while. The smell of cooking is strong here, and it would be unseemly for it to cling to you." Despite her reluctance, Su Xiaoxiao discerned the importance of the situation and gently urged Qin Lang out of the kitchen. "Why leave? You continue with your cooking. I shall assist you," Qin Lang said, grasping Su Xiaoxiao's wrist and gazing at her with warmth. "Wasn't a normal life merely a tapestry of domesticity? Do you regard me with such reverence as a young master, or as your own man?" Su Xiaoxiao hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Deep down, she certainly viewed the young master as the one destined for her future. Yet, she also wished to alleviate some of his burdens. If he was already so busy outside, what significance did her presence hold if he couldn't find a moment's respite at home? Unable to find an answer, she instinctively nestled into Qin Lang's embrace, holding him silently, inhaling the scent that lingered on him. Qin Lang, as if bearing a koala on his front, rolled up his sleeves and busied himself in the kitchen. Culinary skills were merely a skill to him, easily exchanged. When Su Xiaoxiao sought to help, Qin Lang gently placed her hands back around his waist, allowing her to hold him quietly, with no need for her to do anything at all. After a busy half hour, thanks to the efforts of Su Xiaoxiao, a sumptuous dinner was finally prepared and placed elegantly on the dining table. Sitting beside Qin Lang, Su Xiaoxiao held a spoon, persistently sipping the papaya and pork rib soup, occasionally casting furtive glances at him, her heart seemingly burdened with unspoken thoughts. "What's the matter? With such a grand spread before you, why do you only sip on this bowl of soup? Have you not been diligent lately, trying to make up for lost time?" Qin Lang teased it, extending his hand with a smile. "Let me inspect if you've been slacking off while I was away." "I haven't been lazy," Su Xiaoxiao replied earnestly, her cheeks flushing slightly as she sat upright, exuding an air of surrender. "But I'm a bit frightened. I never realized your culinary skills were so remarkable, almost rivaling those of professional chefs. Not only is the flavor exquisite, but the presentation is also strikingly beautiful. I can't help but feel increasingly inadequate." The young girl's face was clouded with disappointment. Her greatest pride was her ability to prepare a feast of her master's favorite dishes. She had always assumed her master was the quintessential wealthy heir, untouched by domestic chores, only to discover that her assumptions were utterly misguided. His culinary prowess left her feeling utterly eclipsed. What would happen if one day he found her cooking unpalatable and decided he no longer needed her? The mere thought plunged Su Xiaoxiao into a whirlpool of anxiety and fear. "Silly girl, how could you ever feel inadequate?" Qin Lang sighed, gently patting her head with his other hand. "Stop dwelling on such nonsense. You know how lazy I am, right? If I can lie down, I certainly won't stand. Isn't this a joyful reunion, a little demonstration of my skills? In the long run, do you really think I will compete with you in the kitchen? Moreover," he added, "honestly, I prefer holding something other than a spatula." His gaze drifted downward. With a flushed face and lowered eyes, Su Xiaoxiao thought to herself that if only her figure were a little better, she might be bold enough to express her feelings more openly. As Qin Lang served her more dishes, he curiously inquired, "What have you been busy with lately? You hardly spend time in the villa, and you return late at night. Has the headmistress at the orphanage burdened you with numerous tasks? Not at all, Su Xiaoxiao replied in a soft voice. The headmistress is particularly kind to me. Sometimes, when she sees me overwhelmed, she willingly helps alleviate my workload, encouraging me to rest. However, when you're not home, even if I return, being alone in this vast villa doesn't bring me much joy. A profound emptiness envelopes me, as if my heart is adrift. I yearn to call you, yet fear the disturbance it may cause, leaving me on the brink of tears. The outside world's busyness serves as a distraction, alleviating my heart's burden. Do not misunderstand the kind-hearted matriarch. She often extols your virtues to me, proclaiming my fortune in having you as my caring partner. You, Qin Lang, with a hint of exasperation, gently urged me to express my thoughts rather than harbor them in silence. I reminded you that you could always reach out, be it through a call or video chat. Yet, it seems futile to impart such advice. You remain steadfast in your ways. Now eat quickly, for we have important matters to attend to. My efforts to instill a sense of selfishness in Su Xiaoxiao are in vain. Her pure heart is immutable. No amount of discussion will alter that. What pressing matter awaits? Su Xiaoxiao inquired, her tone tinged with anxiety and a fear of inadequacy. Do not fret. This task is familiar to me, though I cannot succeed without you by my side. With a mischievous glance, Qin Lang observed her leisurely pace, acknowledging that it would take time to finish. As he lowered his gaze to his bowl, he contemplated which outfit to select for Su Xiaoxiao. Lost in thought, he was jolted back to reality by her gentle nudging. He glanced at the empty bowl, surprised by its cleanliness, including the remnants of the papaya rib soup. I am finished, young master, she declared, her cheeks full, though she had yet to fully swallow her food. In that moment, she resembled an adorable little hamster. Cheeks stuffed with provisions, both comical and endearing, evoking an irresistible desire to embrace and cherish her. Encouraged by her impatience, Qin Lang hastily continued eating, reflecting on the adage, 2 hours to prepare, 10 minutes to consume, quite fitting indeed. After a satisfying meal, he enveloped Su Xiaoxiao in his arms and retreated to the bedroom, engaging in a playful counting game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Qin Lang, feeling slightly overindulged, was met with her playful protest as she clung to his neck, pouting, young master, you are being unfair. Allow me to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. She counted with enthusiasm. That was impressive. Let me count again. Chapter 412. Shun Fan's Plan Ding. Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 villain points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have gained 10,002 villain points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have gained 10,007 villain points. With a deep breath, Qin Lang lay back, exhausted, tucking himself under the blanket while gazing at Su Xiaoxiao beside him, resignedly admitting, this game, indeed, you have mastered. Young master, Su Xiaoxiao murmurit, weakly, hercheks frushet. Let me catch my breath. Qin Lang allowed Su Xiaoxiao to lean against him, silently examining the sources of some villain points from the system panel. Apart from the 7,000 villain points just acquired from Su Xiaoxiao, there had been numerous prior notifications regarding the heavenly villain points provided by Chun Fan. How curious. What is this child of destiny up to? Does he perceive my current weakness? Is he deliberately augmenting my chances to grow stronger? System panel. Character. Qin Lang. Age. 25. Physique. 500. Charisma. 99. Heavenly villain points. 6058. 000. Techniques. 9-turn Heavenly Dragon Technique. 3rd turn enhancement 3375. Requires 1 million heavenly villain points to advance to the 4th turn. Pure Yang, Overlord Body. Breath Control Technique. Tai Chi Skills. Affinity 10. Group Affinity 100. Supreme Piano Skills. Supreme T-Art. Supreme Calligraphy. Disguise Technique. Advanced Firearms Mastery. Advanced Danger Perception. Supreme Medical Skills. Supreme Singing. Supreme Guitar Skills. Advanced Information Disruption. Localized Armed Color Hockey. Indestructible Golden Body, 2/3. Store. Opening, Lottery Center. Opening, each lottery consumes 1,000 heavenly villain points. System Bag. 36 Cleansing Pills, 888 Beauty Pills. Ice Peak Love Special Photo Edition. 58 Memory Fruits, 5 Rainbow Flowing Fairy Skirt, 21 Tianchon Snow Lotus 07 Physique 10 Potions. Casting a glance at the system panel, Qin Lang was struck by a wave of emotion at the sight of over 6 million heavenly villain points. How is it that I have suddenly acquired so many? Oddly, he felt a peculiar emptiness around his waist. Shaking his head, He dismissed the melancholy and resolutely used 1,000,000 villain points to elevate the 9-turn Heavenly Dragon technique to its 4th turn. The battle power surged by an astounding 625 times. Now, after consuming sufficient healing potions, he was ready to support the 3rd turn without endangering his life. However, considering that the next scenario would likely be related to a war god, he had no choice but to elevate his strength further. The 9-turn Heavenly Dragon technique was undoubtedly his ultimate trump card for survival. If possible, extracting the indestructible golden body would be nothing short of miraculous. Currently, he required a plethora of elixirs and was also in need